Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. So we've got a special event this evening. We've got the Indy 375 here tonight. Area 51 Racing League along with Dark Horse Racing Team. I say they're kind of going in together with this. So we've got a special event this evening. As you can see, also got some pretty decent prize money in store, and also a pretty long race as well. So definitely not going to be a sprint race on that side of things. So you can see there, though, it's going to be 150 laps here tonight at Indianapolis. There is one fast repair should they need it. Of course, that's going to be one to try to keep in their pocket to the end, ideally. However, then you also see, though, these prizes available. Winning the race will be $100 going to the winner of the race, $40 for second, $20 for third, and then also $10 for driver able to win the pole position. So that's what everybody is doing at the moment, is running for that pole position, trying to see if they can make themselves $10 richer here, and that'll go pretty much towards a new car, new track, and iRacing. So it's always a helpful thing to have in store as well. So I really want to thank Dark Horse and everybody that is going to be putting this one on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just the Indy cars in Indianapolis, it's just the perfect combination. So it's going to be really exciting to see what these drivers are able to do. It looks like for the most part a lot of similar names and faces. A few new faces that I haven't recognized yet, but might be ones that we'll be seeing here frequently with the Area 51 Racing League. So with that, we're going to let everybody finish up their qualifying laps, and we will see where things lay for the race this evening. Alright, and with that, we have qualifying completed. And I'm going to drag real quick before we get going. I'm going to grab our pole sitter. And it's going to be one of our Dark Horse racing drivers. So let's pull in Charles Teed here. So Charles, say you and your Dark Horse teammates are kind of helping put on the event this evening. Saying you're able to make yourself $10 richer there just right off the bat there with that pole position. So what are you looking forward? What are you looking for this evening with this race tonight? Oh yeah, no, love to be a part of it. Say thank you for putting this event on. So you can see you got a really good group of guys here. 27 drivers looks like set up for this one. So going to be exciting. So I'll get you back up with your team, let you guys get set up for the race, and good luck. All right, so quick interview there with our pole sitter, Charles Teed. You can see it's able to hold onto that pole position over Kevin Fries in second, Ryan Kelly there third. You got Maxwell Caldwell fourth, David Leclerc fifth, Chris Jabot in sixth, Craig Forsyth seventh, Eric Peterson in 8th. And then 9th through 16th, you got Benjamin Combs, AJ Musselman, Brendan Passalacqua, Eric Schaus, AJ Hobson, Corey Lane, Eric Laurie, and Michael Spell. And then from 17th to 24th, we've got Josh Garner, Gabe Butler, Steve Gottschalk, David Patton, Jeff Heisong, James Ledford, Dwight Plush, Jim Brooks. And then we got the remainder of the hero, Jarek Kaczynski, Don Runkle Jr., and Gary Corley. There we go. I pushed a button, so I've been talking this whole time. Nobody's been hearing anything, so apologies for that. All right, so again, long race tonight, 150 laps this evening. Again, there is one faster pair available, so as I think that's going to play into some of these guys' strategies of trying to save that. Ideally, not have to use it at all, but of course, save it towards the end if they actually have to use it at all. And then, of course, the pit window here, about 20 laps, so there's going to be a lot of pit stops in this race tonight with the 150 lap distance, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. That's going to be extremely critical. Get those good in and out laps. Hopefully, everybody's got their brake bias adjusted correctly for those pit stops. And then, of course, going to be having some of those in-car adjustments with the fuel mixtures that they can adjust, the weight jacker they can play with as well. All these things are going to be extremely critical because, again, here at Indy, obviously pretty much you want to be on the inside line through the turns, obviously, but the draft being as big as it is, it's definitely going to make things a challenge here for the drivers this evening. So it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Again, want to thank everybody with Dark Horse putting this one on. So good luck to them as well as the rest of the field. And we're going to see after 150 laps who will be our race winner. And also our top three are going to win some prize money this evening. So that pole award going to the 27 of Charles Teed. He's $10 richer to get things going. So now we're just waiting for that green flag to fly. And we will get underway. And the green flag is out and we are started. So you see there Charles Teed leading the way. Kevin Fries to his outside. And we are underway here at Indianapolis. Again, 150 laps this evening. And we'll see who's able to come out on top once that checkered flag flies. You can see right off the bat, though, you're going to want to, if you are up front, you're probably going to want to protect the bottom. And the other thing you can do, though, is if you're further back in the pack here, you can save a lot of fuel with these cars with the draft that they pull. So you might see some of those guys that started off towards the back just kind of cruising there and seeing what they can do. But right now, though, out of turn number 4, it looks like, I believe that is Ryan Kelly on the outside that's going to try to lead lap number 1 as they're trying to go 3 wide here down the front stretch to complete this first lap. And yes, it looks like Ryan Kelly going to lead lap number 1 there in that 67 machine. And right behind it is David Leclerc. David, of course, was part of running that All-Star Week with us last week. Unfortunately, got taken out early. So maybe tonight's going to be the night where his luck turns around. And I would definitely hope, I'm hoping the best for him. As I mentioned, he's had a lot of pace, just hasn't had the luck to go with it. So we'll see how he's able to do things this evening. But right now we stay 2 by 2 here up front, though, with that number 67 of Ryan Kelly, normally in the 13, of course, where you got Maxwell Caldwell right behind him, as I mentioned, David Leclerc to the outside here. So a couple different strategies as well. I see the 17 of James Levert. He's rolled all the way out of the back there just to stay out of the draft and just kind of, I think, waiting for things to kind of, some of the carnage that he might be expecting to see to ensue before he really makes a move. Then also the 44 Dwight Plush, he decided to start from the pits. He's going for the full safe strategy on that number 44 machine. So right now you can see drivers doing a really good job giving everybody a lot of room. Just trying to see if they can find little ways to move forward. And that's going to be the other thing too, is just trying to position yourself when you need to be in an ideal spot, especially when you get to that first set of green flag pit stops, is going to be, of course, the goal for all these drivers. But it also is going to be just trying to make adjustments in the car on the fly, like we mentioned with the weight jacker and all those settings as well. So say we'll actually hop on board with that number 67, our current leader at the moment. And so you can see some of those things. You're not going to be able to see it. Unfortunately, they won't show the adjustments in the car for us. But he can make a lot of adjustments on this wheel here, including, as I mentioned, the fuel bias. You can obviously run full rich, or you can even run the caution mode. They'll save a little bit of fuel there. As you see, David Leclerc just peeking to the outside there. Maybe got a lap lead there at the line. But then you can adjust, obviously, the fuel numbers, which you're not going to want to do if you're up front here. You're going to be going foot to the floor as rich as possible. However, some of those drivers further in the back, they might be running a little leaner to save some fuel. But then also that critical one is going to be that weight jacker. That way you can adjust. If you start feeling loose, feeling tight, you can make some changes to your car there as well. So right now, David Leclerc holding that top side pretty well here. As these leaders are running really well 2x2 up front. You see there on our ticker to the left, you've got Ryan Kelly, David Leclerc, Maxwell Caldwell, Charles Teed, Craig Forsyth right there. Chris Jabot's that third car on the top side. So he's in that number 5 machine, that blue and white, the Indy car there. I say looking for manufacturers, like, nope, that doesn't exist. Say obviously a little bit of bias on my end. Say it's gonna be hard to catch a good view of it just because of how quick these cars are going. He's got some green white checker TV on that machine, so appreciate him for putting the sponsor on his car. And say he's giving a really good showing here so far early on in this race. Looking through the field a little bit, looks like one driver that's kind of started up front, but he's moved back a little bit. I think just trying to save his stuff is that 25 of Kevin Freeze. Again, I mentioned Kevin is the Season 5 Super Speedway Cup Series champion. So he doesn't run Indy a lot, so say this is kind of, I think, probably getting his feet wet a little bit more. Maybe he'll find some interest in this and maybe try to start running some more series with the Area 51 Racing League. So started 9th right now, or started 2nd right now, running in 9th. So still, again, not too bad. Say just kind of move back a little bit here as you're early still in this run, of course. And then right now, one of the bigger movers, we have the 38 of David Patton there in that gold and white machine. He is from 20th to 14th at the moment. And then also that number 2 of Jared Kaczynski is up from 25th to 13th now. So Jared in that black machine, he's moving, making some pretty big moves. And I also saw just his outside is Michael Spell. He's gained a few positions as well here. So right now everybody's kind of, again, just trying to dice around, trying to get where they need to go here. And it looks like up front, David Leclerc has been able to take over the race lead, so he's got control of this one now, and you can see he's running the inside line here early on. But again, everybody's doing a pretty good job here up front, running 2x2 and giving each other room. But you can see David's able to sneak a little bit of a gap here, but again, even with that, though, he's still going to try to hug this inside line and try to protect that bottom. It looks like keep Ryan Kelly to the top side here. Yeah, Rachel, this is definitely one of the longer races. I think probably one of the longest ones I've broadcasted for sure, scheduled distance. But the thing is, with these cars, I mean, with it going green, I mean, the race could wind up being pretty quick here in kind of general sense of speaking. So, yeah, I'd say this is definitely a longer one that they're putting on here tonight. But I think this will be a good practice for the drivers of kind of learning when to really start making your moves and not be like kind of a sprint race. So. That being said, yeah, feel free to kick back and relax. I'll say it's gonna be a longer one this evening though. So Let's say, and I think that's also part of the thought too, is with this being some cash payout races. Let's say I think that's also where try to have that distance to make it where you got to be there at the end to be able to try to win some money here. So I'll give some of my associates here a hard time too. We'll see, maybe we'll try to get some interviews during some of the cautions. So one I got to mention is that black and pink car of Steve Godschuk. So he hasn't run the Indy Series really with the Area 51 Race League, but he joins me in the booth on Tuesdays. He wanted to try to jump in here and get a crack at it as well. So Steve's going to be our in-race reporter this evening with that number 91. Wasn't feeling the most confident going into this one. Wasn't sure how he'd be on pace-wise. So I think right now, just again trying to kind of get himself in comfort zone here and kind of get familiar, get a little bit more comfortable with the car. Right now, start running exactly where he started in that 19th position in that number 91 machine. And also my Thursday associate, that number 00, Don Ruckel Jr. You can see he's just right now kind of the caboose on this lead draft right now. And I say this is where these drivers, I mean, they might be able to save some fuel doing what they're doing here. So I see some pretty big names that are doing this right now, like the 72 of Eric Schaus, Jim Brooks. We obviously know they know their way around these Indy cars, getting some good finishes, wins. Of course, Eric being our Season 5 IndyCar champion. So say Eric, I think, also going with that strategy route in that 72 machine. So I definitely expect to see Eric towards the front later on in this event, but I think right now just biding his time, probably saving fuel, and then he'll really make a charge once it's go time. Say back up front, still trading the lead up front. There is that 67 and the 50. We've seen them kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, but again, still that 50 really protecting the inside line here. It looks like everybody's holding pretty steady. Everybody's being really patient right now as things run. So saying that being said, we are not too far away from our first set of pit stops. We're on lap 13 here of 150. And again, we talked about the fuel window being right around 20 to 21 laps. So that's going to give these guys probably some, especially the leaders here, probably be hitting the pits here in about 7 or so laps. But again, though, I think some of these drivers, as we see 3 wide, they're a little further back, trying to catch which car that is. That may have been AJ Hobson in the 63. That was, he went to the inside. He's going to gain a couple spots. It looks like gets underneath the 131 of Craig Forsyth. Looks like he will complete that pass for the moment. But it looks like there goes the 131. He's going to go right back after him here off of turn number 4. Doesn't quite complete. You can see he has to get right back into position there. So move AJ into that top 5 in that number 63 machine, with Craig Forsyth now to his outside. You see right behind him is Michael Spell, Chris Jabel right there, as well as is Josh Garner in the 12. And this top about 9 or so have broken away just a little bit here over Benjamin Combs in the 77. But again, still not far enough away for everything to kind of, for that draft, it'll definitely still find a way to kick itself back in here. You also see in the mix here is that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, our Thursday Cup Series champion. So say we've got our champions of, actually we've got all 4 of our series champions here in tonight's race. So as I mentioned there, the 94 Maxwell Caldwell, our Thursday Cup Series champion. And then as I mentioned as well, we've got the number 1 Gabe Butler. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 25 of Kevin Freeze, I apologize, our Super Speedway Cup Series champion. And then the 72 Eric Schaus, our Indy Series champion on Tuesdays. And then also the 17 of James Ledford, our Wednesday area, or 87 cars, Area 51 Race Leading Season 5 champions. So we got all 4 of our champions in tonight's race. Also some of the runner-ups as well. Like I mentioned, Ryan Kelly was the runner-up on Thursday, as well as Gabe Butler, the runner-up on the Sunday Cup Series, Super Speedway Cup Series side. So again, a lot of our big hitters here in this race tonight, so I really appreciate them coming on and supporting the special event. And as always, I definitely want to thank Dark Horse for putting this event on. A really good car count here, so again, just really exciting to see what we're going to have to see, what to expect as this season grows and continues on. But right now, it looks like that 50 though of David Leclerc, he's been able to. Again, he hasn't been able to stretch a gap, obviously, with the way the draft is here. As you can see, drivers starting to put down some fastest laps of the race. Last time by Don Runkle Jr., quickest car on track. And I think what we're seeing here is I think that aero push with these cars, especially in the pack here, I think it's starting to really kind of show with these cars not being able to stay right on the back wing of these cars. It's going to start pushing on exit, and so I think that's why you're seeing this field really start to spread out a little bit here. I think right now our biggest mover is probably Michael Spell in the number 88 machine. He is up into the top 5 here now. Started 16th, so plus 11 for him. So great run for Michael Spell. I think he's done a really good job of managing his tires and everything. So just trying to get himself in a good position here as we approach our first set of green flag pit stops, as we are on lap number 18. As I saw AJ Hobson there get a little wiggle there. Looks like he's able to hang on to it. But right now everybody's still holding nice and steady up front here. Say pretty much 2x2 towards the front. And then a little further back, everybody's running single file here for the moment. But yeah, so right now everybody's doing a really good job here early on. So again, you see the runs. I say from that distance view, you see all these cars jumping out. I say for me, it makes me nervous. So I say obviously on board it's probably not as intense as it is from those distance views. But again, these cars they get such big drafts that's what you're able to do with them. And so I say, and that's what you're seeing all these cars start to jump around a little bit. But everybody's, I think, again going to be jockeying for position to make these pit stops here very soon. So we're going to be watching, I think, that 50 of David Clare. He's going to be our first taker. I think he's been up front the most here so far on this run. So we'll watch him as he comes out of 4 and see if he does. He does hit the pit, so that's going to be our first taker here. Looks like we got one behind entering the pits as well. You see him get loose. They're able to get down there. So that's David Clare, Chris Jabot. So they're going to be the first two to make green flag pit stops. So again, great job by these drivers to get to that first point. So now, actually, I think that's probably a smaller group of cars pitting together. I think you're going to feel a lot more comfortable doing that because if you're going to have a big group of drivers here trying to hit the pits here, that's going to be where problems can definitely happen. So we'll watch and see as things continue on. And see Charles Teed, now our pole sitter, is now back up front in that number 27 machine. So we'll keep an eye on him and see. Looks like he's staying out, but we got Ryan Kelly, I believe, is in. I think I also saw Michael Spell. So we got 2 more hitting the pits. So right now it's splitting up just a little bit. Benjamin Combs in 77, he is in as well. You see AJ Hobson goes to the top side. He's going to grab the lead in that number 63. And so move now AJ Hobson to the lead up front. But say you see Christian Bell coming out of the pits. Oh, we got contact in the back. We're going to have our first yellow. I think that may have been the number 2. It is Jared Kaczynski. That's going to bring out our first caution of the event. And you can see Christian Bell was right on the edge of getting a lap down, but he's going to be okay though. He's going to stay on the lead lap here. So great break for him with that way that pit stop cycled through here. Unfortunately though, Jared Kaczynski is going to have some heavy damage to that machine, which is going to require a fast repair for him. And that will be our first caution for this evening. So let's see what happened to him. Alright, so we're watching that number 2 of Jared Kaczynski entering turn number 3 here. And looks like, not sure if that was, you see the car just stepped out on him there. Then he gets some contact as he was trying to recover there. Couldn't quite tell who he made contact with on the inside line. I'm not sure about the initial contact, however, but so yeah, that's going to put us under a first yellow. And I think as a whole, may have gotten away with just one car involved there somehow. So great job again by all the drivers here. Jared going to try to limp this thing back around to the pits, which I say while we have that, all the leaders are working their way around. I also see the 17 James Ledford here in the pits, and he's been in there for a while, so not sure what's going on here with the 17 machine, unfortunately for James. So we'll keep an eye on him, but we're gonna here in just a moment have our first set of our first set of caution pit stops now for our leaders. Again, though, all those drivers that pitted that first time around, they're going to be all right. They're all stayed on the lead lap, which included, I believe, let's see, why am I showing AJ Hobson already pitted? Oh, AJ may have had a pit there under, he may have been out of fuel here. Actually, looks like I just saw there the 12 car, Josh Garner. Take a little double check there in the car. I thought I saw a little bit of damage to the engine cover, but I think that may have just been the paint scheme throwing me off there. Yeah, so that car actually looks okay, so disregard that one. So on the pit stops under yellow, looks like it's gonna be Maxwell Caldwell holding serve through the pit stops. And I see James Ledford, he's coming back around, so I think James is going to be just one lap down, it looks like, in that number 17 car. And then up front will be David Leclerc after he made his pit stop there under green. And so he's going to have a little less fuel than those in front of him. He was our first pitter. We saw Ryan Kelly hit the pits as well as Michael Spell. So to say those two also had to pit under green. I believe Benjamin Combs was in that same boat as well. However, it looks like the number 5 of Chris Jabot, it looks like he went ahead and topped off there under that yellow. Actually, looks like he took tires and fuel as well, so maybe decided he had enough of that running up front, wants to kind of take it easy here a little further back. So it's going to change the running order a little bit up front. And yeah, so right now we're going to have everybody on the lead lap except for the 17 of 17 of James Ledford, apologies. Say James going to be just one lap down. As you see, everybody's trying to get reorganized here and get in the correct position up front. And we'll see if anybody's going to top off here on the one to go. I think we're going to see some differing strategies, and I see one taking advantage of that, which will be Benjamin Combs. Say Benjamin was also one of those ones that pitted early on during the green flag run there. Also see Jeff Hysong, AJ Musselman are going to hit the pits as well. And I see a few others in the back also joining in there. See Gabe Butler, Don Runkle Jr.'s in, Dwight Plesh. So we're going to have a few more here hitting the pits to top off on this one to go. Just to be able to go that little bit extra, as to say, I think that's their strategy of just trying to stay towards the back of the field here and kind of let things settle in a little bit and probably let some attrition take it over as well. Alright, so with this first caution, so we're going to have our first restart here. Going to restart on lap number 25. Going to have 126 laps to go still. One thing again that's going to be important to note though is going to be the single file restart, leader having control of the restart. Saying drivers further back in the field here are going to have to be extremely careful, to be careful with that accordion effect, because once that pace car goes in, it's up to that number 50 to be able to fire off whenever he is ready. So we see everybody's kind of spaced out a little bit further back just to try to avoid that, and we are back underway. So David Leclerc going to lead the field here back to green as you see them all coming through the start-finish line. So again, it's going to start lap number 25 here. So David Leclerc leading the way over Ryan Kelly. Right behind him, then you got Michael Spell in the mix, and he's saying you can see right away all these drivers are going to try to take advantage and make the moves that they can here early on. So we'll see if Ryan Kelly is able to. He does. He's going to clear the number 50 and move Ryan Kelly now back to the front in that number 67 car, with David Leclerc now falling back into second position. And I mentioned Michael Spell up into third in that number 88 machine. Started 16th, already up to third. So a great early on run for him as well. So you can see he's running with that number 50 as they go down the back, and now the 50 David Leclerc, he's going to clear the 67, and that's what you're able to do here. If you can get a good exit, you can get the momentum, you can make that pass happen. Looks like Michael going to follow through as well. So now Michael's going to have his sights set on trying to get this lead here. He's going to jump to the top here down the backstretch. We'll see if he's able to complete the pass, but right now it looks like it's going to go side by side entering turn number 3. I also see a little further back there. I think that's David Patton in the 38 car there in the 4th position right now. Also a great start for David, started 20th and now showing in that 4th spot. Also challenging for the top 3 right here. So again, some big movers here early on. 2 of those are the 88 Michael Spell, the 38 of David Patton. Somehow Jared Kaczynski's already found his way back. Oh, we got a big crash in the back. I think that was Charles Teed, our upholsterer. It was. Oh, and it's not going to flip back over, unfortunately, which is going to be a huge disadvantage for him. He's going to have to take a tow here. So he tried to get it tipped back over. Couldn't do it, though. So unfortunately, our pole sitter here had to take a tow there. So it's going to probably put him a lap down here. Let's see what happened to him here. That's going to bring out our 2nd caution of the evening. So we're watching that red and white machine coming out of turn number 2. So it looks like a bit of a stack up in front of him. You see everybody's just kind of 2 by 2. I think everybody's checking up a little bit. You see, oh yeah, big check up there right in front of him. I believe that was the 63. And then unfortunately, you see Charles just tries to react and winds up getting up into the outside wall here. So just nothing he could do there to react with that. It just happens all so quickly. Again, we're running super slow-mo, so it looks like obviously easy to be able to do something about that. But when these cars are going about 210, 220, it's all happening extremely quickly. So, and then with these cars, they just, unfortunately, they kind of ride the fence. You see, he actually winds up grinding on the safer barrier there. But again, looks like it's only going to be a single car incident here. Again, unfortunately though for Charles, it was not able to get it back onto his wheels where he could try to drive it back to the pit, so he had to take a tow. So that's going to get him trapped, I believe, at least 1 lap down. Should be a big benefit for James Ledford. That should put him back onto the lead lap here. So the only thing that Charles would have going for him is he would then become the only car 1 lap down himself. So we'll kind of wait and see here as the leaders are coming across into the pit entry, and it looks like not a lot of strategy here. Everybody's going to hit the pits. It looks like we'll see if anybody stays out. Up, I see one jumping out. That's going to be that 5 of Chris Jabot. He's going to stay out for some track position here. So he's going to come in. Looks like he was about 15th position when this all started, and he's going to come out here through with the lead. I mentioned James Ledford will get the wave around here as well. So I'm going to throw him off here because I know a lot of times his mom likes to watch these broadcasts. So I say, oh, it's always awesome to see the parents be a part of that. So you can see Chris's nameplate there on the front of the car with Luke there as well. So let's go ahead and pull in this number 5 machine of Chris Jabot. Say, put you on the spot here since you're the only driver to stay out there. Under this caution, but I say obviously you just made that pit stop under green. So I guess first off, what's the thought process on the track position here, and then how's your race been so far?
Well, that's just it. As far as staying out here, it's, I think, all about track position. It's been hairy up front, so I don't know if I want to be here, but I don't know, I feel like I have a better chance of missing the wrecks if I'm in front of them. So I'm going to be a little short on the fuel mileage this run. So hopefully, I don't know, I'm kind of expecting another yellow.
Yeah, I mean, it's early on, so it's definitely a good possibility of that there. And you're right. I mean, you kind of went both ways here this so far in this run, where you started towards the front and you're running up front there, and then obviously you had that green flag set of pit stops where you're able to come out just in front of the leaders before the caution came out, and then you're kind of cruising in the back there a little bit. So it's kind of what you saw when you're further in the back, maybe like, yeah, I prefer the front there.
Yeah, and even just from the practice before the race, it's when you get everybody in a line, it's really hard to pass unless you have someone that's moving down the track to draft with you. If everybody's running single file, you can pull to the inside, but if that draft is on the outside, you can get about halfway beside them, and then they just pull back away from you.
All right, well, I believe you're getting the one to go, so I'll let you get focused up here again. So good luck. I'll say hopefully Luke helps you out this evening. Definitely try to show him off a little bit there as well. And then, of course, I'll say hopefully your mom's watching as well, so figure put you on the spot there if she's able to get there, be able to watch this one as well here.
I'm sure she is, so hi, Mom.
All right, good luck, Chris. All right, so that's our race leader, Chris Jabot. So he stays out there, the only driver to stay out. However, again, pretty short run there under that green flag conditions there. So like you said, he's probably going to be a little shorter in field by about 5 or so laps. But depending on how the cautions fall, that could wind up being a wash. So we'll see how that goes. Matt, good to see you. Hope you are having a good evening tonight. Say we're still early on in this one, lap 30 of 150, so we're going to restart with 120 left to go. And say, Rachel, as you mentioned, say this is definitely going to be a long one this evening. I'll say, well, obviously, it adjusts as things go, but right now it's saying possibly about another hour and a half or so. So, yeah, like I said, get comfortable. And I'll say at least there's no pressure on the championship side of things, but of course with the prize money, that's definitely going to still put some pressure on some of these drivers here. Again, had a few drivers top off on the one to go. Looks like Kevin Freeze, the first of those to do so, as well as Gabe Butler, Jeff Hysong, AJ Musselman, Don Runkle Jr., and Dwight Plesh. So we'll see what this restart is going to bring. So again, reminder that leader can, once the pace car is off the racing surface, he can go whenever he is ready. And it's going to be up to those drivers to be careful and not get into the back of him. And so we will see what these drivers are able to do here as we're about to get back underway. Alright, you can see he's dropped the hammer, so we are going to back under green here. Lap 31, 120 laps remaining in tonight's event. And so you can see in the back there, some drivers having to kind of move around and try to get themselves situated a little bit there on those starts. But it looks like we've gotten through the restart here. Mentioned Charles T did wind up going one lap down, but again is the only driver one lap down at the moment. So again, should another caution come out, he will be able to hopefully be the recipient of that one. As you can see, you saw all those drivers kind of snake around on the inside outside trying to kind of break the draft there. But now again, Chris going to have his hands full with that number 50 of David Leclerc. As I think both these drivers had the same opinion here, try to control this race. We've seen David up front most of the events here. As we mentioned, also see Michael Speller in the 88 trying to figure out where he needs to go. But right now everybody's holding pretty solid here up front. Also, of course, see Craig Forsyth in the 131 still in the mix as well. David Patton's still there as well in the 38 cars. We mentioned those, the 88 and the 38 making big gains from where they started here this evening. But right now, Chris Jabot trying to hold on to lead as they go 3 wide down the backstretch to see if anybody's going to give entering turn number 3. It looks like David is going to roll out of it there. So now move Michael Spell up into second, trying to make the top side here work on the momentum to try to get that lead. But I think right now that inside line is going to have the speed here as things run. I think the top line will come in, just hasn't happened yet. Those tires have to wear a little bit more, and that's when things are going to really kick off. Yeah, Matt, I say any advice you can give Don will probably be helpful. I say it's always good to have some extra set of eyes and say another brain to work on things as well. Say because there's times when you're on track that you're not sure what the right strategy is going to be. So I think that'll definitely be a big help for him as well, because you never know how these races are going to turn out here. See, one thing I'm noticing Chris do that a few drivers hadn't been doing who've been leading, he's not hugging it straight to the inside line right off the exit. He's actually kind of arcing it out and then brings it back in, which is going to help that momentum on that number five machine. And then you also see there entering turn number 1 there, he arcs it out and then cuts it in. So I actually really like what Chris is doing there. That's going to kind of help those tires a little bit, save them a little bit, help the momentum as well. So I think Chris doing a really good job here on kind of controlling the pack here at the moment, because you can see they're not stacking up on him as much as everybody else has when they've been really hugging that bottom line. But at the same time, too, again, I think you're going to see a little bit of strategy from some of these drivers, probably trying to use him also as kind of being that blocker of there and say, yeah, you burn your fuel up here, you pit early, and we're going to try to stretch another lap or two. Yeah, exactly, Matt. What he's doing here will definitely help not burn those tires out, which is going to be extreme. Even with the clean air, you can still really burn the tires up doing that. So that being said, though, it looks like David Patton, he's got tired of running there. He's going to take the momentum to the top side and try to make something happen here. We'll see if he can make the pass here through 3 and 4. But again, right now, say Chris still holding on. But again, now that 38 is outside, he can't wash up as much as he wants to, and that's going to keep him pinned down a little bit, lose a little bit of momentum. But you see David jump to the back there, grab the slipstream, jump back to the top, and try to use that momentum and try to clear that number 5, entering turn number 1 this time. But right now, Chris still holding solid on the inside line. So again, great job by Chris here early on, really doing what he needs to do to kind of control this race, and has been doing a great job of it. Jack, good to see you, sir. Are you, hopefully you're not, well, I guess you're probably celebrating your All-Star win there in style, hopefully in Delaware. So congrats again on that one, man. Well deserved. Great job with all those 3 races. So missing you on track here tonight, but look forward to seeing you, of course, here soon for season 6. But I'm not sure if you're what the Delaware vacation, if it's a vacation or work or what, but hope you are doing well. As you can see now, that David Leclerc trying to work the top side again on that number 5 of Chris Gerbeau, but can't quite make it happen yet. And you can see Craig Forsyth, he's filled that gap, so David can't get to the bottom to steal any draft there. So they're going to stay side by side here down the back. Oh yeah, that caught me off guard too, Jack. I thought it was going to start a little later than it was, so... yeah, unfortunately, I got a little bit of miscue on the timing of everything that was going on there. So definitely miss having to say, yeah, they didn't want you stealing any more of their money. Probably, I think is exactly what it was. All right, so one thing we have to mention is this group has actually been split up a little bit on this restart. So I'm hard pressed to kind of cut away from this battle up front because it's a really good fight here. I want to show you the gap between this lead pack here. You can see him there, and you saw that group further back there. You see Kevin Freese here now just entering turn number 3. They're about 6 seconds or so off the leaders, about 4 seconds off the kind of the tail end of the pack there, which is Gary Corley in the 7. So you can see them there in the background. So they're not quite in that draft yet. So that's going to be the next challenge for these guys. So those drivers that are in that back, obviously you see on the left on the ticker, of course. But they do include Kevin Freese leading it. Then you have AJ Musselman, Gabe Butler, Steve Gottschalk, Don Runkle Jr., Dwight Plush, and James Ledford. Unfortunately, all those drivers right now are kind of out of this lead pack right now. So that's the risk reward of kind of doing that top off strategy. If it doesn't work out for you on the restart, you could lose some time, and that's exactly what has happened to them. But yeah, it's still a long ways to go. Definitely opportunities for things to bring them back into contention through pit stops, through potential cautions, things of that nature. So definitely don't count that one out here. But right now, like I mentioned, though, we got the top 18 drivers, I believe. Yeah, it looks like top 18 are still all in this lead pack. The couple in the further back there just kind of string out just a little bit to, again, I think just try to play it safe. But right now, David has just a nose ahead of that number 5 machine, but again, isn't quite able to complete the pass. So again, Chris doing a great job here. That being said, though, his pit window is going to be opening very soon. I'll say he's on lap number 18 of the run. Of his run, I'll say he's had some caution laps to save a little bit of fuel in that number 5, but I would expect to see him in probably about 2 to 3 more laps at most, and we're going to see the rest of the field here probably be pitting in about 7 to 8 more laps. That early incident has not scared off Jared Kaczynski. Saw him go 3 wide there down the back. He's going to move up now into, I believe, about the top 10 right now. So a great recovery for Jared Kaczynski after that caution, or being in that first incident there. So he got trapped in the back. Had to use a fast repair as well, but he's going to be back into the mix here as well. As they come down the line here, it looks like, again, Chris Gerbeau still holding on to the lead. David Leclerc cannot quite make that pass happen. Again, he's also, probably thinking big picture here. He knows once that 5 is going to peel off into the pits here in the next lap or two, that's going to kind of let him take over with the lead. So we'll see. We'll see how the pit strategies are going to play out, because it could play a role in this one. You never know. But right now, everybody's holding pretty steady here. I think we're kind of seeing that like we saw the early run. Everybody's just trying to be careful, kind of bide their time here. So we'll watch that number 5 as he comes out of turn number 4. He's able to go 1 more lap. So again, those cautions, he's able to stretch his field just that little bit further. As now David Patton going to jump to the top. So it's again, everybody's kind of fight to be that first car to make the pass happen. When that number 5 does make his pit stop, But oh, right there, big move by David Leclerc there. He's going to jump to the inside. So I think that's what everybody's trying to do here is they're trying to position themselves to be that car to take over the lead once the 5 hits the pits. But again, though, Chris has done a great job here. He's pretty much controlled this whole fuel run here with that number 5 car. So we'll see again how this all cycles through here. And I think what the drivers were thinking that topped off there, they're kind of thinking that lap 20 fuel window here. So we'll watch the 5. I think we'll see him. No, wow. So actually really good fuel mileage for Chris here because this is lap number 22 of his run. So he's been able to save some really good fuel here so far in this stint. So we're going to stay focused up front here, watch that 5 hit his pits, and then we'll kind of cycle through the field a little bit here, try to see where your favorite drivers are running. And of course, those that are watching, and I really appreciate you being part of this broadcast. Feel free to chime in on the chat comments. Let me know if you have a favorite driver, if you want me to kind of put a focus on somebody to spotlight. I'll definitely get you some info on how they're doing here. And again, that 5 still somehow stays out. I really expected to see him pit a lap or two ago. So this could actually come into play here because we're coming around 105 to go. And that's what everybody's, I think, looking for, is to be pitting with probably about 100 to go to be able to kind of do those 20 lap increments, kind of pit backwards, if you will. So we'll have to wait and see. I see James Ledford. He's going to hit the pits. He ran 22 laps on fuel on that number 17 machine. He was the lucky dog the last time around, but unfortunately was not able to make a green flag or make a pit stop under that yellow. So I'll say with that, seeing James there in this time, I think we're going to probably see Chris here. And I see everybody jumping to the top, so I think he's letting them know he had to pit. And here he comes. He's going to hit the pits, that number 5 machine. Now he's got to make sure he gets it woed down in time. Looks like he's done a great job of doing that. So that's going to move the lead now to David Patton in the 38 car. As again, it's getting busy up front. I saw a little bit of smoke there. I think they get away with it. May have been connection, but whenever you see smoke in these packs, you get nervous. Alright, so say Chris in that number 5, he's making his pit stop while drivers here running around. He should be able to get back out clean without having to, without worrying about getting lapped, and he is leaving the pits now as the field is coming out of turn number 4. So as long as he can get quick up to speed, I think he'll be fine to stay on the lead lap. Unfortunately, won't have any draft to save fuel. But again, once these leaders pit here, not too far distance for their side of things, that would be probably where he would cycle in back with these leaders here. We got Ryan Kelly now. He's moved his way back up to lead as they again see David Leclerc. He's been running up front all evening, so he is now running still in second position. But now Ryan Kelly's got to the front there. Maxwell Caldwell, he's making his name heard again there in the 94. As we mentioned already, David Patton, of course, he's right there in that mix. You see the 88 of Michael Spelling right there as well. The 131 of Craig Forsyth is in this mix as well. I see AJ Hobson also in this group as well, so he's been able to move his way back up front. So again, a great run for a lot of these drivers. That group further back there, they still have not been able to catch back up. I'll say they're still showing about 7 or so seconds off the lead. And lap times they're showing pretty equal to the leaders, but just don't quite have the pace that the leaders do. I think just probably with the bigger draft group. So we're on lap number 20 of the field run here. So I think we're going to start seeing some leaders duck in shortly. You see Chris there in the foreground there just going by. Again, so they're going to start getting to him. But as soon as they get to him, that's going to be when they're going to have to make their pit stops. So they say the only downside for Chris here is he's not going to be, he's going to be burning a lot of fuel here without the draft. Of course, and then having to pit sooner. But, oh, Zeke Craig Forsyth, big push there out of turn 2. I think kept it off the wall. Oh, no, he's got some left front wing damage. So this is going to be a strategy call for that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Does he risk taking a longer pit stop here and get the wing repaired manually? Or does he need to use the fast repair here? At this point, I would think you would take the longer pit stop. Craig gonna have to be careful as we got a couple drivers heading in the pits now. I saw the 50 is in, as is the 77. So we got David Leclerc, Benjamin Combs. They both hit the pits a little further back. I see one more coming in. It's AJ Musselman. But you see Craig Forsyth falling back just a little bit with that left front wing damage there for his car. So we'll jump back up front. You can see everybody spreading out a little bit here. So right now Ryan Kelly's still holding on to the lead. And I think we're going to see these drivers make some pit stops here very shortly, as we're going to be coming around this time to 100 laps to go. And again, if they're doing the math backwards here, this will be just about the window where they could try to make it here and kind of, again, do that 20 by 20 laps. And so we do have we have a handful here pitting. Looks like David Patton's going to lead that group in. And it looks like they all got in nicely. We'll say that's what the 4 of them. So great job by those drivers hitting the pits there as well. So that was David Patton, Michael Spell, Josh Garner, and Eric Peterson all hitting the pits. Jeff Heisong as well. And now up front, you see the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. He's going to jump in front and take the lead. And I'm saying this is also a strategy you can start doing here. Maybe kind of play a little bit of leapfrog here, where you kind of get the draft past the guy and kind of just keep repeating that. And that's a way for you to kind of make some quicker time. So we'll keep an eye on those drivers to see if they kind of keep doing that. But I think we're about to see, yep, we have our next set of pit stops coming in. You can see, oh, we see one jump out there. I think that was, oh, we got a big crash. Oh, my goodness. You see Ryan Kelly was one of them in the 67. As wow, that was a huge hit for him. Unfortunately, Eric Schaus as well. He might be able to keep it off. See if he can get it off the wall. He does. So both cars are going to stay on their wheels here. But, oh, my goodness, what happened there? I saw the 13 enter the pits, but then it looked like he jumped out, so I'm not sure if something happened. So we're going to watch Ryan Kelly here in that 67 machine. So as they come into the pits. Oh, too much, looks like rear brake. You see just the back end steps out on him here, and unfortunately for Eric, just nowhere to go. Apologies for the shaky cam there. And so, yeah, heavy contact for the 2 of them. So I'm trying to see which driver that is that just sneaks through there. I think that might be Corey Lane in the 20. But watch these 2 drivers, though, just unfortunately just go for a ride here. See the 67 and the 72. So say not what they're hoping. That was what I mentioned with the brake bias. Oh my, you can see Ryan Kelly actually gets almost up to the height of the flag stand there. So that's going to bring out our first caution, or sorry, not our first caution, our third caution there. But during the pit stop cycle there, you see Steve Gottschalk, he slows down to avoid that one. But I want to see that from the point of view of that 20 machine, because that was probably quite a view. And we'll do it at speed here. So riding on board with Corey Lane, so we're going to see what he sees entering the pits. You see just how fast it happens, and somehow Corey just sneaks through there. So a big moment for him, being able to get around that. So with that all said, I say we're going to now have our leaders that had yet to make a pit stop here, pit under green, or under yellow. Jim Brooks was the first of those to make that pit stop. You see Chris Jabot, he's going to have to pit here as well to be able to kind of get cycled back on fuel. But I think, let's say, of those that pitted under yellow, I think Jim Brooks will be the first out of the pits. But with, again, where the cautions fell and where the drivers were in the pits, I believe it's going to hand the lead over to Maxwell Caldwell, as Maxwell is in the pits when the caution happened. So he was able to service and get out and basically be on the same group with everybody else here. And we got a couple drivers that look like are going to be taking the wave around, including the 27 of Charles Teed, the 1 of Gabe Butler, and the 38 of David Patton. Those drivers, you see those 3 are on the tail end of the lead lap, so they're going to try to get the wave around and get back onto the lead lap here again. And then right now, actually, it looks like Charles Teed is 2 laps down. I apologize. So he's going to try to get one of those 2 back, as he had just pitted under that under green flag. So unfortunately, he's had to do this one more time to try to get back in contention again. And the only other driver 1 lap down is the 67 of Ryan Kelly, who was able to, I think he took a tow and was able to get a fast repair done on that 67 machine. I always get his number mixed up. And then also the 72 of Eric Schaus is still on the lead lap, had to use a fast repair as well, of course. So, man, yeah, that was a wild one. Alright, so sure enough, there goes those 3 drivers. 2 of them going back on the lead lap. Gabe Butler, David Patton. It's going to move Charles Teed back to 1 lap down again in the 27 car. And so he's going to be competing, though, against the 17 of James Ledford and the 67 of Ryan Kelly. Those will be the 3 fighting for the lucky dog the next time a caution comes out. That said, though, we are now on lap 54 of 150. So we've got, we've gone over a third of the race distance here this evening. So we got 97 laps to go. Again, still a lot of time for a lot to happen here. I say again, that pit window being around that 20 laps or so. So going to have probably at least 5 more pit stops, scheduled ones under green, that is. So still a lot of time for that to happen. Alright, so pace car about to pull back in. That's going to put it into the hands of Maxwell Caldwell. And so you got a new driver up front here as well in the second position, Josh Garner in that number 12. So say you see the pace car is off, so it's going to put it into the hands of that number 94. Oh yeah, looks like we have a couple drivers, like Rachel mentioned, looks like Eric having to serve a penalty, even though, oh, we got a crash in the back though. Somehow no caution from it. Say Craig Forsyth is involved. Oh, you see he's missing his whole front clip. That was the accordion effect we were worried about. To see him coming to a stop here. Unfortunately, that may be his day done. I'm not sure. That's a little bit of those concerns we were having there. So that could have actually worked out well there for the 72 and the 25, but unfortunately, say they still have to serve those penalties. Thought a caution might come out for it, but does not look like that occurred. And yeah, unfortunately, looks like Craig Forsyth has retired from the event. Unfortunately, say just that's that accordion on those restarts that we'd mentioned that just unfortunately seem to tend to happen and wind up sometimes biting you. So up front, say with all that going on now, up front though, Josh Garner still holding on to the lead for the moment, but here comes David Leclerc. Also see the one of Gabe Butler. I believe Gabe is having to possibly serve a penalty in that number 1 machine as well. So I see the 72 car, Eric Schaus. I believe he probably had to stop and hold. He's exiting the pits now in the 72. So I'm trying to see. I see Kevin Freese still sitting in the pits as well. Again, though, saying the only, like, I guess you can say a blessing in disguise is there's still a lot of time left in this race, so a lot can definitely happen. But what is going to change, though, is that we're going to have a lot of drivers here trying to fight to be that first car 1 lap down. As I see, no, I was looking a little further back again. You can see another split field here. We've got the top 14 on this lead pack here. Looks like Brandon Pasalaco. I haven't mentioned him too much. I'm at 23 right now. He's the last car in this main lead pack up front. And then unfortunately, I say those drivers that fell off the back on the initial start there. You see Don Runkle Jr. is the one leading that pack. He's got Jeff Heisong with him. Steve Gottschalk also in there. You got AJ Musselman, David Patton, and Dwight Plesh. So let's see, back up front here. So David Leclerc has been able to take back over the lead here. So he's now back in control. We've seen him up front most of the event. Also have another new face here towards the front, the 36 of Eric Peterson in that number 36 machine. He's got the white and red car with the gold wheels. He is now running in third. So he qualified up front in the 8th position, but I haven't really mentioned him so far this evening, but he's doing a great job. And then we mentioned Christian Bo's a big moment there down the short chute there through turns. Oh, contact a little bit between him and the 94. That was a close call. Somehow able to hang on to it. So business definitely picking up front here, but it is definitely getting dicey up front there with those two there going through the front stretch here. Looks like everything's kind of sorted itself out for the moment here, but again, good reaction there. So I don't know how Chris was able to keep it off the wall there, because that could have been extremely bad. So say right now the battle for the free pass would right now at the moment be going to the 67 of Ryan Kelly is the first car one down. Then you also have Gabe Butler is the next one in line. So yeah, so as I mentioned, right now 21st through 25th are one lapped out. Chris looking to go 3 wide, can't quite make it. Had to roll out of it. That was a close one there. So he was trying to go from 3rd to 1st there, but didn't have the room to make it happen. So Chris looking to get back up into the front here, so now he's going to be on equal footing on tires and fuel. And actually is a little bit better on fuel. He's actually pitted about 2 to 3 laps later than the leaders here, so he can stretch it a little further should he want to. So we'll see if that comes into play with the pit strategy, because again, he can kind of ride here if he wants to, which it doesn't look like he wants to right now. But he can definitely save some fuel in that number 5 machine should he choose to. He's going to get the run to the top, jump to the outside of that 50 of David Leclerc. Oh, contact entering turn number 1. We're going to have a big incident here. A lot of drivers involved. We saw the 5 get there as well. So yeah, this is going to put the caution out. We have a lot of drivers involved. It's going to be hard to keep up with who all was involved in that one. I saw obviously the contact initiated with the 5 and the 50. I see the 76 was involved in there as well. Eric Peterson also caught up in that one. Let's see what happened if that was just drivers going for the same real estate. But what may be the benefit on that one is that some of these drivers further in the back, they may have been able, those that lost the draft may have gotten away from it. So let's watch as they come into turn number 1. No, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it looked like Chris just came down into the 50. Maybe he expected David to turn down sooner. I'm not sure. But unfortunately, though, a lot of damage with a lot of these front runners here. I'm not sure if anybody actually made it through. I'm watching the 88 of Michael Spell. I think he actually did, possibly also the 94. But as you can see, a lot of cars involved in this one. You see Eric Laurie's in there as well. I think I mentioned the 12. I think I saw him caught up in that one also. So yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of carnage here on this incident there. You see, drivers just trying to sort their way through here as they were still kind of coming to a stop there. All right, so unfortunately, that was definitely a big incident here at Indy. So that's definitely the big one for this evening. We'll see. We'll take a look at Maxwell Caldwell, see if he was able to get through it cleanly or not. Because it looked like he may have got a piece of it, but I think he could have gotten away with it. We'll see. But I think Michael Spell somehow found his way through there. Let's do another onboard here. Let's hop on with that 88 car. Let's see what he saw. Watch him go down the back stretch here, entering turn number 1. And that's where, yeah, you can see the contact occur right there between that 50 and the 5. And then from there, it's just, you're pretty much just guessing game of where you want to go. So you can see, he sees that little window opening right in front of him here. And I think just somehow able to squeeze through here. And you just see the carnage behind him. And it looks like Maxwell is able to get through that as well. So, again, I mean, great job by both those drivers able to get through. So you see a few drivers a little bit of damage in there as well. But yeah, so say that's going to bring us back into the pit stops here. And it looks like, yeah, so the 67, Ryan Kelly got the wave around. So Ryan Kelly now back on the lead lap from that. But we're going to have a lot of drivers here going to try to get their lap back on the one to go wave around. It looks like I'm trying to catch all who are going to be taking advantage of this. I see Eric Schaus is there. I believe Gabe Butler in the 1 is in there as well. The 27 of Charles Teed also in this. So we got at least 3 drivers here that are going to be doing the wave around here. I'm not sure if any others. I'm trying to see. I feel like I see a driver here without a front clip on his car. That was Kevin Freeze. Was he missing his front? Oh yeah, he's missing the whole front end of that car. So I'll keep an eye on Kevin here. He's going to have to make a pit stop, I would think, unless he's just trying to get a wave around as well. Because Kevin, I think Kevin's actually 2 down, so he may be trying to get one of those 2 laps back. potentially in that 25 car. Maybe what he's going to do here is get the lap back and then pit coming to green and get it fixed that way. So yeah, wow, this is definitely changing things up a little bit here. A few drivers still sitting in the pits. The number 2 of Jared Kaczynski, unfortunately, I think his night is going to be done. So he had to use that fast repair earlier. I see the 76 is back out on track. Let's see. I see the 36 rolling. That's Eric Peterson. He's gotten going again. 50 of David Leclerc. He's back underway. But I still see the 12 in the pits. That's Josh Garner. He just gets going. If he can hustle, he might be able to beat the pace car out. Because I say they're doing the wave rounds now. I think he's just going to get trapped, though, unfortunately, here. We'll wait and see. And then looks like, as we mentioned, Maxwell Caldwell looks like he's going to restart in the lead. So yeah, so say right now we're going to have a handful of cars trapped a lap down, as I had mentioned. But Gabe Butler, Charles Teed, Eric Schaus, they're now back on the lead lap, which is going to give us 18 cars on the lead lap. Cars that are 1 or more laps down are Benjamin Combs, James Ledford, Eric Laurie, Jared Kaczynski, Eric Peterson, David Leclerc, Josh Garner, and Kevin Freeze. So I'm going to let everything cycle through here a little bit to figure out exactly who is where. Once the running order gets updated. But as I mentioned, unfortunately, in that last incident, though, Craig Forsyth has retired from the event. This is just unfortunately wrong place, wrong time for him with that incident. So yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. But we're going to be restarting here now with 87 laps to go. So we're not too far away from getting to that halfway point in the race. And it looks like everybody is 1 lap down except for Josh Garner, who is 2 down in the 12 car. We saw Josh just wasn't quite able to get out of the pits there in front of the pace car. So unfortunately, he's going to be trapped 2 down. I believe, like I mentioned, Jared Kaczynski, and I think he just has too much damage to repair. But with that, the pace car is about to duck in, and there you see him go. And that's going to put it into the hands of Maxwell Caldwell. You got Michael Spell right behind him. And we are back underway again. Drivers to be careful for that accordion effect on the restart here. You can see everybody's really kind of giving each other a lot of room. I think they saw what happened earlier. And it looks like so far so good on the start. So Maxwell Caldwell going to lead things off here, saying they got a pretty good gap right now. So to say that's going to be the next thing, of course, is to be careful not to lose too much time to our leaders as they come through the backstretch here. Michael Spell, though, he's going to jump to the inside. He's going to try to get the lead here, and easily he's going to be able to get it done there. So I'll move Michael now up into the lead in that number 88 car. Again, started in 16, now up into the lead. So they actually have a few drivers, as we mentioned, with some big progress through this race here. As you can see, though, he's going to jump, or he's going to stay top this time and say. So I think there might be a little bit of strategy of who wants to go where. But right now, though, now you see the 63 AJ Hobson. He's going to take over the lead. David Patton right there as well in the 38. And again, these top 5 have been able to stretch out just a little bit here. So you've got Michael Spell, AJ Hobson, Maxwell Caldwell, David Patton, and Corey Lane are all in this lead pack. The next pack is led right now by Chris Chabot, Jim Brooks. They're going to try to close that gap back down. And they're right around that magic 2-second window. So if they can get just a little bit closer, they should be able to grab back onto these leaders and be able to chase them back down. So again, with what just happened there in that last caution, with so many cars involved, there's going to be a lot of drivers that do not have any fast repairs remaining. So some of these drivers may have to adjust the way they want to have their race here. So I'll have to keep an eye on that as my four-legged announcer is giving me some updates on his side of things. But right now, though, I'm watching lap times, and it looks like they are starting to close that gap. You see Jim Brooks again is the 76 leading the way. I'm going to say still getting some good updates from my four-legged one. So right now, though, up front, AJ Hobson still hanging on to lead just barely over the 38 of David Patton. Now that I say that, David's going to take over the lead, but here comes AJ again. He's going to jump to that inside line, try to see if he can get the lead back. I'm saying this as they come around the start-finish line. I'm going to watch the lap time. So leaders were in the 40.7s or so, and Jim Brooks leading that group behind was in the 40.4, so he was quicker than the leaders there by a couple of tenths. So I think they're just about in that magic window for the draft. I think we're going to see that next time by, we'll probably see a pretty quick lap out of that 76 of Jim Brooks here. Yeah, Rachel, that's my cat Loki. He's very talkative at times, and say a lot of times it seems to be when I'm in the booth here. So he's a handful, but I love him. He's a lot of fun. And you can see that gap has closed. Jim Brooks going right to it. So he's going to try to grab some spots here with that momentum. And as I say that too, also doesn't put down the fastest lap of the race, but puts down a 39.234, compared to the leader's 40.7. So you can see just how much that draft comes into play. As he's just going to go straight to the front here. I think he is done riding. So you know what? I was riding. I got caught up in the wreck. I just want to take control of this race here if I can. So it looks like, I believe most of this lead pack should be able to catch back up to this group here. Say right now Charles Teed is the last one in that lead pack here. And you can see he is still with that draft, so I think Charles is also still in good shape here. Unfortunately, the 23, Brandon Pasalacqua, you can see him off here by himself there with the 17 of James Ledford. He's about 11 seconds off the lead, so not what he was looking for there. So he might be trying some strategy, though, maybe trying to go full fuel save here and maybe do something different, just draft off that 17 of James Ledford. We'll wait and see, but right now, though, so unfortunately not in a good spot for Brandon. It's, again, back up front, though, so things still busy up front. So I don't think anybody's going to start backing off anytime soon up here. And again, on the pit stop cycle strategy of things, there's going to be a couple drivers that are going to have to pit very shortly, which will include Eric Schaus, Charles Teed, Gabe Butler. All those drivers are going to have to pit a little earlier because they took that wave around there when that caution came out. So it puts them back on the lead lap. Unfortunately, like I said, they're going to have to fall out of the cycle a little bit here. But that being said, though, as you can see, we're on lap 71 of 150, so we have 80 to go. And so again, if that fuel window is indeed the 20 laps or so, that would be able to have them make it to the end still on the same fuel strategy as the leaders, as I don't think any of these leaders are going to be able to stretch it to go one less pit stop at this point in the race. So right now, again, you see the 38 and the 63 fighting hard up front. Again, Michael Spell doing a great job hanging on to that third position. We mentioned Jim Brooks. He's joined this fight as well. Jim started 24th and now up into 4th. Again, a lot of these drivers, though, do not have a fast repair remaining in with these cars. So unfortunately, there's no way of knowing who has what left. But obviously, if you saw your driver caught up in that wreck, you know that they're out of them. I know the 76 is out. I know the 72 Eric Schaus is out of him. Chris Jabot, he's out of fast repairs as well. So I think right now, two that I'm aware that probably still have a fast repair are the 88 of Michael Spell and I believe the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Other than that, I am not positive for who still has a fast repair remaining, as we saw with that last wreck, including a lot of cars there. Yep, you see a couple there taking the pit stops here. That is Eric Schaus, Charles Teed. Again, so depending on how quick their stops can be here, they still should be able to try to hang and get back into the kind of blend back in on the lead lap. That's going to be critical for them, is to get a quick in-out lap with those two cars. Maybe they can work together and draft as well to try to keep that speed up on their machines. So we'll keep an eye on them after they make their pit stops and see where they cycle through. But right now, again, AJ Hobson, David Patton just running side by side here up front. Jim Brooks, Michael Spell right behind them. You also see Chris Jabot still in that mix as well. I also see Jeff Heisong in the 18 car. I haven't talked about him too much today. He's now up into that 7th spot as Jim Brooks all over the back of our race leader there, AJ Hobson. So I'm watching the 27-72 come out of the pits, and I believe the 72, I think Eric Schaus should be safe, but I have a feeling the 27 car is about to get gobbled up here. You see he's coming out of the pits, and here come the leaders. But now the question is, where do they go in relation to him? Oh, it's in a tight spot there, and we're going to have contact in the back, and we're going to have another big incident here. See, David Patton was caught up in that one. There were some others as well. I think I saw the 36 36. Yeah, Eric Peterson caught up in it as well. As I think it was just drivers not sure where to go with that. With that car coming back on track, and it wasn't quite up to speed there. I say, but again, I really don't know what Charles can really do there, because unfortunately he's just kind of in a bad spot with not really many options. So you can see Eric Schaus, he's got a little bit of a buffer, but then you see them coming up onto the 27. You see AJ Hobson, he jumps to the inside. That kind of forces Charles to the top, and I think a little further back you're going to see Jim Brooks, he has to slow down a little bit. Oh, I think it may have either been Netcode or Michael Spell got into him. You see Chris Jabot, I think, may have just gotten away with it. I see some smoke, but I see everything still in the car. But I see Maxwell Caldwell there is caught up in it. Let's see, I see a few other drivers trying to tell who all is where. Oh my goodness, you see that that car with the gold wheels. I'm trying to remember which driver that was. You see he's going for quite the ride. I think that may have been Eric Peterson, or is that who I'm watching right now? That is who I'm watching right now. No, sorry, that's David Patton. Where's Eric Peterson? The 36 car. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately it was Eric Peterson that we saw there. So we'll watch him. He's at the red and white car with the gold wheels. Oh, yeah, nothing he can do. Just heavy hit there. And then unfortunately, there's just nothing he can do. So he goes for a wild ride there as well. We also saw the 94 Maxwell Caldwell got caught up, and you can see almost to the height of the catch fence there. Say Maxwell Caldwell's car as a whole could be worse, honestly. Well, now as I say that, there's no rear wing, so it could not be much worse. So with that, we got some more pit stops. So apologies, trying to keep up with everything here. And with that, the strategy call. So Eric Schaus had to pit there due to the pit penalty. Had to pit early, get that served, then had to pit under green because he was about low on fuel. And now is going to cycle through as our race leader here. And unfortunately, you see that 50 David Leclerc, he's just hoping, he's like, please pit, because I could get a wave around here. But unfortunately, I believe he's going to get trapped behind that number 72 car. So I think that's going to keep David Leclerc trapped one lap down here. As actually, I believe the Lucky Dog probably went to the 27 of Charles Teed there, as he was obviously the first car that, before that incident occurred, as he was literally just getting lapped there. So just huge poor break there for the 50 of David Leclerc. So say right now we are on lap. We did have crossed the halfway point. Apologies, as they just happened as that caution came out. So we still got 74 remaining here. But yeah, so that's gonna cycle now. Eric Schaus to lead. He had just made his pit stop. So say he's got maybe 2 laps, I'd say, less fuel than the leaders here. But you see the 50 of David Leclerc, he's going to hit the pits here. Looks like he's going to bring in Ryan Kelly. I believe actually bringing a bunch of drivers in with him here. So again, this might be some fuel strategy. Maybe drivers are going to try to take a little bit less if they can. And so update on things, it looks like, unfortunately, I believe Dwight Plush has retired from the event. Well, from what I can see, I'll make sure we'll let it update to be 100% sure. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, Jared Kaczynski and Craig Forsyth definitely have. I still see Eric Peterson sitting in the pits. I'm not sure if he has any fast repairs remaining, though. That being said, we still have 17 cars now on the lead lap, and then 18th on back are at least 1 lap down. And it looks like drivers showing 1 down right now are Eric Laurie, Benjamin Combs, and then 2 down are Josh Garner, David Leclerc, and Kevin Freeze. I actually need to mention, I'm sorry, James Ledford in the 17, also just 1 lap down. So those are going to be the drivers kind of trying to fight for that lucky dog position here again. Unfortunately, as you saw, David was just on the fringe of getting one of those 2 laps back, but unfortunately then the 72 was ahead of him, so couldn't make it happen. So yeah, so this is all good now. Somehow, with all said and done, it's going to cycle Eric Schaus now to the race lead. And I mentioned AJ Hobson second, Jim Brooks in third, Chris Jabot fourth, and Michael Spell rounds out our top 5. Mentioned Brandon Pasalakwo's out of the draft there. He is now up into the 6th position. So again, a huge break for him as well. And is also on the same cycle as everybody here. Charles Teed's now back on the lead lap as well in that 27 car, back on the same cycle as everybody. And we are about to get things back underway here with about 72 laps remaining at the line. Alright, green flag's back out. You see the field going through here down the front stretch. It looks like a pretty clean start here up front. I think everybody's done a pretty good job there of getting, kind of getting a little bit better on these restarts, getting more familiar with everything. But right off the bat, you can see AJ Hobson wants to waste no time. Going to try to get the lead from Eric Schaus. Eric, again, going to hold that bottom line. That seems to be the preferred place to be. So now the question is, where does Jim Brooks go? Where does Chris Jabot go? And it looks like right now they're going to hang to the inside here through 3 and 4. But here comes that 88. Michael Spelt, a big head of steam around the top. But right now, still just, I think, too much draft here with these cars a little further backwards. Pretty hard to make these passes happen. See the 38, David Patton. He's having to jump in the pits here. Possibly a pit penalty for him. Wasn't the lead lap here, so we'll see. Hopefully he's able to cycle through and not lose too much time. But unfortunately, he might get trapped a lap down with that, depending what the penalty is for him. However, up front, you see Jim Brooks gets a good run off of turn number 2. He's going to jump to the inside 3 wide for the lead with the 76, 72, and the 63. Looks like coming out of it into turn 3, Jim Brooks going to take the lead there. Down the back, entering turn number 3. So move that 76 car back to the front here. Eric Shaw is going to try to hang on to second. Now it's all about where that draft is going to be. And right now, say Eric's going to be rooting for Jim to go to the inside line. AJ Hobson says, no, stay up top. And looks like he's actually kind of working both lines here. So that's going to keep that 72 and the 63 side by side entering turn number 1. Off of 2, see what Jim Brooks does. He's going to kind of run the middle here. It kind of puts him at risk of someone jumping to the inside of him, but I think Eric Schaus, again, let's say we know for sure those 2 drivers are out of faster pairs, so say they'll probably try to be smart here and say they race together a lot, so they know each other, they're familiar with how they run another race, so there's a lot of trust, I'm sure, between those 2. Same thing goes with Michael Spell. They've raced plenty of times with him. I say, and with AJ Hobson, I don't know if they've raced with him before, but I mean, we've seen him up front a lot this evening. So that's what you got to do with these races. Is if you haven't raced with some of these drivers, is just be up front, kind of just show that you can be trusted, and that's going to allow them to feel a little bit more comfortable racing with you. So he's done a great job with that as well. So say really good job again. Say obviously a couple incidents here, a couple big ones, of course, which is just that's typical of how these races go from time to time. But again, as a whole, though, a really good race so far this evening. As next time by, we're going to be at 68 laps to go. Again, that fuel window is about 20 laps on fuel. So once they get to lap number 60, they would be able to make it to the end on 3 more pit stops as to be able to make it to the end here. Just saw one car leaving the pits. That was David Patton there. Oh, that's going to put him 3 laps down. So whatever that penalty was massive. That's a huge, just a huge bad break there for the 38 machine. David obviously had a really good run here. Was up front a lot this evening as well. So he's going to require a lot of help to have his chances improve to be able to get back up into this one. I'm watching a few drivers here that are a lap down, trying to charge their way towards the front. Obviously, first of which is David Leclerc. Right now showing us 2 laps down, and that's the thing is he needs to get one of those 2 back because right now there's 3 cars that are 1 lap down in front of him. And I think actually one of those is also in this fight here is that 12 of Josh Garner. He's in that red and white machine. So he's going to be also in, actually as I said, that David Leclerc has been able to get around him. So what David's goal is going to be here is to try to get to be this in this lead pack here, try to see if he can get around that 76 of Jim Brooks. But right now, I say he's kind of pinned between that 63 and the 76. Also, the 5 of Chris Jabot. See a little bobble there from the 12. Able to hang on to it, though. You see Eric Schaus. He's kind of rolled out of it here. I think he's been seeing the aggression that's been up front and knowing if he wants to be able to win, get some cash here, he's got to be around at the end of this race. Yeah, you're exactly right, Rachel. I'll say, honestly, I'm a little bit nervous for some of these guys as well because obviously plenty at stake for these drivers. Say obviously not a points-paying event, but obviously some money involved, and of course just a little bit of, I'm sure, a little bit of pride, a little bit of bragging rights, and everything too. So I think that's what we're seeing here with some of these drivers. But again, David Leclerc trying to find where he can go to try to see if he can get to the front here and want to control the lead of this race. But with that 76 and the 63 running 2x2 here up front, his options are limited right now, and obviously he doesn't want to force the move to go 3 wide or anything like that. As I say, that almost looked like he got squeezed there with the 63. Almost did wind up going 3 wide somehow. As all you see close there between the 12 and the 1, I believe that was. Yes, Gabe Butler in the 1 machine. Gabe right now in the top 5 in that 1. As we mentioned, the 12 though is showing also 2 laps down, trying to get one of those 2 laps back as well. But here comes Chris Jabot. He's going to take a peek to the inside of that number 50 car. So again, Chris trying to move his way forward as he's trying to fight. Oh, close between the 12 and the 50 there through turn 3. And David going to again use that draft and able to clear that number 5 there down turn number 4, back down the front stretch here. So right now still Jim Brooks and AJ Hobson running 2x2 up front. Say these drivers doing what they can. Say obviously everybody's trying to be up front here and lead the race, but then also, like I said, it's kind of some differing opinions on what your strategy is going to be depending on where you are on track, what your strategy is. If you're a lap down, if you're 1 lap down, you're just basically racing the cars around you. So like right now, Benjamin Combs showing as the first car 1 down in that 77 car. So he's got to make sure he keeps that 071 of Eric Laurie and the 17 of James Ledford behind him. But then of course if you're 2 or more down, at this point you really you're just trying to get one of those 2 laps back so you can get at least one of those laps back, kind of the old-fashioned way, if you will. So I'm trying to keep an eye. So right now David Leclerc, I want to see for his when he last pitted, because maybe he could try a different pit cycle. He pitted 11, so he's got slightly more fuel than the leaders here. So say if he can just save really aggressively here, he can maybe then when the leaders have to pit, he could cycle through to the front, and then maybe hope for a timely caution that way to be able to get a lead lap, or get a lap back, I should say. Of course, the other strategies he could try, or maybe try to short pit a little bit, or short fill, I should say, a little bit, have a shorter pit stop. But yeah, so right now those seals kind of stuck between that 76 and the 63 as they still battle side by side. Say nobody able to get the advantage. Say again, Jim's got the shorter line through the turns, but AJ Hobson's got the momentum down the backstretch, or down the straightaways, I should say. See Michael Spell right there as well, trying to figure out where he needs to go. Chris Jabot is still in this fight as well in the 4th position. So say you got a lot of cars here that are a lap or more down, that are in this mix. So say again, doing what they need to do to be able to position themselves, because the thing is you can't fall back, because if you do, you're going to put yourself at risk of losing that lucky dog position. As I believe I also saw the 77 Benjamin Combs right up in this fight. So it's like if he falls back too much, then he's going to potentially lose that spot to Eric Laurie. So there's a lot of battles here going on track. As actually, as I say that, we do have a really good battle here for that lucky dog position. You see Eric Laurie there right behind that 77 of Benjamin Combs. Eric got tight there out of turn 2, so it's been able to let Benjamin sneak away just a little bit here. And that's why we're seeing these drivers fight so hard for every position right now. And so right now we are coming around to, we're going to have 60 to go at the line this time. So again, I talked about that pit window. So say basically if it is a 20 lap on fuel run, drivers, if they wanted to, they could pit now here, and they could be able to make it on 2 more stops, basically pitting at lap 40, then at lap 20 to go into the end. But of course, with as powerful as the draft is here, you're going to probably want to have some drafting help. So I think you're going to see the drivers probably just run these things dry. And then, let's say, depending on how the cautions fall, of course, strategies will adjust from there accordingly. Alright, so you see, again, right behind that 63, 76 are the 12 and the 50. Again, these two are both 2 laps down, so they're both trying to see if they can get one of those 2 laps back. But again, right now, just trapped behind the leaders, just haven't had enough of a run to make something happen. I say again, that's also part of the strategy. Does David maybe think about trying to save some fuel, and maybe maybe he's just riding right now? It's hard to say. As again, it's it's probably pretty tense up front here with these leaders. You can see actually now the 12, Josh Gardner, he's starting to get a little bit of advantage. He's going to jump to the inside here and see if he can make something happen. You can see he's trying to figure out where he wants to go. A lot of movement between the two of those, the 12 and the 50. So I think they're trying to jockey to be that first car 2 laps down, or just to kind of position themselves to be able to find their way in front of the leaders here. But again, right now still that 76-63 holding on to the lead. So Jim Brooks has done a pretty good job again, also holding the lead here as we come through down the backstretch. So looking at the pit window, they still got about, I would say, 4 to 5 more laps before they have to make their green flag pit stop here. One driver that has a little bit less fuel that I mentioned that I forgot about, Eric Schaus, he's going to probably be due here in another lap or 2. That might be why we see him falling back here. He might just be going full fuel save in that 72 car. They try to keep him on similar strategy as our race leaders. But again, we've seen drivers that are able to pit early. Sometimes it actually is an advantage because you don't have to worry about getting run over or running somebody over during the pit stop cycle. So we'll keep an eye on that. As you can see, a lot of movement going on here now. You see the 63 is falling behind the 76 of Jim Brooks. So now that's going to open the door to the top side for that number 12 car of Josh Garner. Can he get to the outside of Jim Brooks and maybe get one of those 2 laps back? So you can see he's trying to steal some draft and then jump to the top side. So Josh Garner doing everything he can and get one of those 2 back. As we saw David Leclerc trying to do the same. Now you see he's jumped to the top there behind Michael Spell. But unfortunately, he's not going to be in the position that he wants to be at this point. Says he's going to want to be one of those first cars on the outside line. As you see, he's going to jump to the inside here and see if he can make something happen. Oh, it was tight there off of turn 2. Somehow they stayed off each other. Looked like for a second that David was going to get into the back of the 88 car, but great job by them. And now you see the 6-3. He jumps 3 wide, thinks better of it, though, backs out of it. I'll say again, right now, we're going to be coming to that pit window here very shortly. I'll say the first car I think we're going to see is that 72 of Eric Schaus, but he stays out one more lap here. So he's doing a really good job of saving fuel in that number 72 car. As up front, though, you can see that 12 car's got just a nose ahead, clears the 76 of Jim Brooks. So that's going to move now the 12 Josh Garner just 1 lap down. Again, critical for him. Should a caution come out, he would be in the really good spot here to try to be able to get back into contention for the win. Now that's going to leave it into the hands of David Leclerc. David going to have to try to do the same thing down the backstretch. You can see he's trying to follow the draft of that 12. But as I say that, though, Jim Brooks gets back to the inside of that 12 car as they are fighting tight for a position here. And actually, you can see 12 loses some ground here. And that's now allowed the 50 of David Leclerc. He's going to jump behind Jim Brooks here. And we'll see right now, David's just going to follow that 2076 car. And we do have our first 2 pitting, Eric Schaus, Charles Teed. They are both hitting the pits here with 54 laps remaining. And they can make it to the end on 2 more stops. And saying again, with just the 2 of them, hopefully they maybe, big move there for the 88. You say David Leclerc had to react to it, gets back on track before he hits the grass. That was a close call between the 2 of them. So right now, they're coming around here. And I think we're going to probably see some pit stops here in just a moment. I see Jim Brooks here. He's kind of holding the inside line. Is he going to duck in? He is. That's going to put a lot of drivers actually into the pits right now, including, surprisingly, actually, David Leclerc. I thought David would stay out a little longer. So it's going to be Jim Brooks, Michael Spell, AJ Hobson, David Leclerc. They're all going to hit the pits. That's going to cycle the lead over now to, see, Eric Laurie, I think, just caught the wall there out of turn number 1. But our race leader now is going to be Gabe Butler in the number 1 car. And in second position is that number 5 of Chris Jabot, Maxwell Caldwell in third. So now it's going to be about when these drivers want to make their set of pit stops here. Let's say again, I think everybody's just trying to stagger it out just a little bit right now. But I think based on what I'm seeing here, I think we're going to see that 5 car in this time just by the way he's positioning himself. He is in, as is the 12. And I believe that is also Jeff Heisong in the pits with him as well. So that's going to be our second group of drivers making their pit stops. But up front, still Gabe Butler holding on to the race lead, has yet to make his pit stop here, as he's about to head into a lot of traffic here as drivers are coming out of the pits. Looks like Jim Brooks in the 76 had a really good pit stop. He's been able to actually gap the cars behind him that made some pit stops as well. So We'll see how he's able to cycle through once pit stops, if we get the green flag pit stop cycle completed here. So now we're going to watch that one of Gabe Butler. So we see him kind of peeking to the inside. I think we're going to see him in this time by. Yes, he is, as is Maxwell Caldwell, Eric Laurie. We got a lot of drivers here hitting the pits. And you can see actually Maxwell able to actually jump the one car entering the pit lane. A little bit more aggressive, able to gain some time on him. And now that's going to cycle the lead to my broadcast partner, Steve Godschalk. He's going to stretch it a little bit further than the rest of them, as he's going to be, right now we're at 51 laps to go, so we are just about at the 2/3 distance mark of the race. So right now the two that have yet to pit are Steve Godschalk and Don Runkle Jr. And as I say that, we have a caution. I see the 63. Oh, that's AJ Hobson, and it doesn't get back on his wheels, so that's going to put us under yellow here. So again, we're not going to quite get the green flag pit stop cycle completed. So let's see what happened to AJ to bring out this caution. So you're watching that 63 car. It's that multicolored car a little further back here. It's right behind the 50 of David Leclerc. So we watch them as they enter turn number 3. Oh, you see they're 3 wide on the entry here. I can't tell who that is. Oh, actually just terrible net code, unfortunately. No actual contact between them, just bad net code. And unfortunately, you see the 77, I believe that was Benjamin Combs. I believe that was the 2. I believe that was the 2 that showed making the contact, but unfortunately, AJ Hobson, nothing he could do there. Saying from there, he's just kind of along for the ride and just takes some wild hits there. It comes to an abrupt stop there as well, then unfortunately up on his lid. So unfortunately that's going to put us back under caution here. I say just had completed those green flag pit stops, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything cycles through here. But right now it's actually showing our race leader as being Ryan Kelly. So actually it looks like Ryan had stayed out along with Steve Gottschalk and Don Runkle Jr. So I think we're going to see those drivers hit the pits this time around. Yep, and here they come now. You can see a lot of drivers also are going to stay out and get that wave around, get back onto the lead lap. See a few drivers here coming in. I see Jim Brooks there. He had that really good pit stop. Unfortunately, isn't able to make the most of it. As I was curious to see, it looked like he had a really good pit stop there in that 76 car, but unfortunately won't be able to take advantage of that one. So we'll see the 67 here hit the pits. I'm assuming we'll see the 76 dudes probably just take fuel only, maybe top off a little bit to take that little bit less fuel. We'll wait and see on that one. But it looks like with all of that said and done, it will be Ryan Kelly, the first car out of the pits. But I believe the 5 of Chris Jabot is staying out, as did Michael Spell. Looks like also Charles Teed, Maxwell Caldwell. So I believe those are going to be our leaders here after this pit stop cycle is completed. And again, just to watch, I'm going to let everything cycle through and update, but I'm showing for the moment that Eric Laurie, Josh Garner, and David Leclerc are just 1 lap down, which would be a huge bonus for them to be able to get one of those laps back. But actually, I'm looking at now, I see Eric Laurie and I see Josh Garner in the 12 right behind him in front of the pace car here. Let me see how everything is cycling through. Oh, actually, so it looks like Josh Garner and Eric Laurie, they're going to be able to be just 1 lap down. Unfortunately, though, it looks like it's going to trap David Leclerc again to be 2 laps down. So I've mentioned before how that 50 just seems to constantly have bad luck, and I believe it's going to continue again here, as he's unfortunately behind our race leader, which will prevent him from getting that wave around. And I see a lot of drivers here topping off on this 1 to go. So it's going to be led by Maxwell Caldwell. I believe it looks like you see Jim Brooks with a late decision there to jump in as well. So we're going to have, it looks like Maxwell Caldwell, Steve Gottschalk, Ryan Kelly was in there as well. Jeff Hysong, who else is in there? Don Runkle Jr. is in the pits as well. Benjamin Combs, David Patton, and James Ledford. So we have a lot of drivers with the pits. You see the 071 and the 12, they get the wave around. But Chris Jabot going to regroup here. He's going to come out of this one in the lead here through that pit stop cycle. Michael Spell in second, Charles Teed in third. You got Gary Corley, Eric Schaus, Corey Lane, AJ Musselman, and then you got Brandon Pastelacqua, Maxwell Caldwell, and Ryan Kelly will be our top 10 here. So again, talk about the fuel window. What I'm curious, I don't think anybody can stretch it that far, but we're going to restart here with 47 to go. I wonder if anybody's thinking if they can try to stretch it really far and basically be able to make it on one stop, actually, I should say, and be able to basically stretch it from, let's say, like 48 to go, and if they, let's say they can pit at like 23, 24 to go, and then stretch that last run out as well, should we go green all the way to the end. I wonder if that's going through the minds of some of these drivers, whereas obviously the ones that have stayed out, they're just going to be going full send here. But those that topped off on that one to go, I wonder if anybody's going to be going full fuel save here. Alright, so it's going to put it back into the hands of Chris Jabot up front. Michael Spell right behind him. Then Charles Teed, Gary Corley, and Eric Schaus are the top 5. So once that 5 car decides to, he can drop the hammer and get things going, and he has done so. So Chris Jabot going to lead the field back to green here. 47 laps remaining. Again, still got a couple of pit stops to go as well. So we'll see how things go. I see the 12 car, actually, something happened to him. May have been a checkup on that restart. So you see he's back on the way, but missing the whole front clip of his car. So now the question is, did he get into the back of anybody? See, a lot of these cars look okay up front. So unfortunately, though, it's going to give him some damage. So now, though, again, Chris Jabot going to try to hold off that number 88 of Michael Spell. Also see that 27 Charles Teed back up into the mix. Charles, of course, our pole sitter this evening. So he's going to try to kind of pad his bank account, if you will. And saying, you also see there, I believe that's Gary Corley. Haven't talked much about Gary. I think Gary's just been biding his time here. Now he is up into that 4th position. As I mentioned also, that the 50 of David Leclerc, he's going to be fighting hard here, trying to get one of those 2 laps back, as he needs to get one of these 2 laps back to be able to get back into contention to try to have a chance at the win, as he has been extremely dominant this evening, been up front most of the race. Just unfortunately got caught up in an incident with him in the number 5 car entering turn number 1. And then just was not able to land on his wheels, and that's kind of what has kind of put him back where he is currently. Oh, you see a little bit of contact between the 50 and the 27. Somehow Charles Teed hung on to it there. I don't know how he did, but you can see a lot of momentum loss for both of them. And that's kind of opened the door here. AJ Musselman, now same thing for AJ. Haven't talked about him too much this evening. Now he's jumped into that 3rd position with that moment between the 50 and the 27 there. And so, yeah, move AJ up into 3rd. But again, I think we're going to be having to keep an eye on that number 27, or sorry, the number 50 car, as I'm sure going to be trying extremely hard to get one of those 2 laps back here. And this is going to be one of those risk first rewards, again, for some of these drivers up front. You know the 50 car's a lap or more down, so it's one of those things like, how hard do you want to fight him? Knowing that he's, even if he gets a lap, that he may not still be one. Obviously, you know he's quick, so you want to keep him, if you can keep him lapped down, that'd be ideal. But at the same time, of course, you don't want to risk your own race for that as well. So we'll see, though, he's able to clear those cars in front. So now he's going to try to jump to the outside of Chris Jabot. And say that's going to be, again, there won't be a battle for the lead. But again, that's going to be critical for the 50. Should he be able to get one of those 2 laps back, as he goes a little bit wide through 1 and 2. But again, still able to keep the momentum up on that top side. So see how 3 and 4 goes. He's going to peek to the inside, grab some draft, then jump right back to the top here as they go down the front stretch with 43 laps remaining. Right now, first car of those that topped off is the 94, I believe, of Maxwell Caldwell in the 6th position. Let's say also those that topped off include Ryan Kelly, Jeff Heisong, Jim Brooks, and Gabe Butler. So again, we'll see what their strategy is. Are they going to try to go full fuel save here and maybe try to stretch it to the end on just one more stop, or will they still have to maybe take a splash at the very end? Oh, we got big trouble in the back. That's going to change everything here. You see, oh, Jim Brooks up and over as well. So trying to catch, oh, that's Gabe Butler in the one car. He's also going for a wild ride. And unfortunately, say Gabe is going to be on his lid, so he's not going to be able to get back going. Jim Brooks, we mentioned he was out of fast repairs. Unfortunately, his night will be done as well. So let's see what happened here. So I think they got caught up in it. I don't think the issue was started with them. Let's go and see if we can find where the initial contact occurred. Oh, you see it right there. The 77 car catches the grass in turn 4, and then unfortunately just nowhere for those two drivers to go. I also see the 72 of Eric Schaus. We'll to see if he got through it or not. So he was right in the thick of it though. But yeah, so say Benjamin Combs though, Jim Brooks, Gabe Butler, all caught up in this one. Again, don't know if the 77 had any fast repairs remaining either or not. And also see, I believe that might be, is that Steve Gottschalk? No, it's, oh, who is that in the back there? So you see that one driver kind of sneaking through the carnage here. No, it's not him. Alright, let's go. You see a little bit of, yeah, there is some nose damage to that 72 of Eric Schaus. But again, if it's just cosmetic, he might be okay. Let's hop on board. Watch that speed here with Eric Schaus. Just see how quick, yeah, he touches the grass. Oh, somehow, I mean, looking at the wheel, is the wheel holding straight now? I feel like the suspension may be off for the 72 car. Not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Let's compare it with one of our other drivers here. No, his is off to the right a little bit in the straights too. So Eric may have gotten away with it with just some cosmetic damage. So he's going to be able to, he'll have a long pit stop, of course, but he'd be able to get that wing repaired or replaced and be able to get back going. So we'll see if he's able to get things going again. We're waiting for the pit, or he's doing the pit stop service. He is down and away. It was a long pit stop because of the wing repair, but I believe Eric Schaus is still in contention here, so a great break for him. And this time, David Leclerc is going to get one of those 2 laps back, so he is not going to waste any time on this one. He's staying out, going to get that wave around, so which will put David to just 1 lap down. It looks like Gabe Butler actually did have a fast repair. He is back on track as well. As I mentioned, unfortunately, Jim Brooks, though, he did not have any left, so he's going to be retired from the event. It looks like Benjamin Combs as well. Looks like Josh Garner has retired in the 12 machine, as well as AJ Hobson in the 63. So now, drivers that are 1 lap down will include David Leclerc in the 50, as well as, unfortunately, Gabe Butler in the 1, as he had to take a tow. And I think actually it might just be the 2 of them. I think everybody else is 2 or more laps down here. Alright, I haven't had a chance all race. We gotta grab my booth mate here, Steve Gottschalk. So we haven't had a chance to chat with him. Let's go ahead and pull him up here. Alright, we're gonna grab our 91 of Steve Gottschalk. So it looks like you're hitting the pits, so hopefully I don't mess you up on this one. But so I haven't had a chance to talk to you all race to say there's been so much going on. So I got a chance to talk to Chris earlier. Let's say as you're making this pit stop here on the 1 to green, it's going to be obviously pretty tight on fuel. Is that kind of why you're going for this top off strategy here?
It is. Hang on. I've missed my pit stop so many times.
No worries. I feel you there. All right. So again, I know you don't run these cars too often, but I mean, take us through. I mean, again, we're obviously here at 40 laps to go, so kind of coming crunch time. So I guess we have 2 important questions. One, do you have any fast repairs remaining?
I've had to do 2 small repairs so far, the front wing and the rear wing.
All right, so you've been able to save the fast repair though?
On my fast repair.
That's gonna be a big benefit there. And so yeah, so then of course the other plan, Steve, now is you here pitting with 40 to go. Obviously, you should be able to make it on 1 more stop. I mean, what are your thoughts here going into this final run?
Me and Don have had a very conservative strategy, and it seems to be working so far, which is basically hang back, let everybody else race each other, and save fuel, and be there at the end. And so far, thankfully, I missed all the wrecks.
All right, well, we're about to get back going here. I don't want to make you drive and race or talk and race, so I'm gonna move you back up there. Good luck here, Steve. All right, I didn't mean to cut Steve off there, but I want to make sure he can focus, get this restart going. I'll see if I can grab him again if we get an opportunity. Ideally, obviously, with the top 3 finish tonight, so we'll wait and see how that goes. That being said, though, AJ Musselman going to lead it off here. Him and Jeff Heisong did not pit, so they're going to be stretching a little bit further on fuel. We'll see if that pit strategy is going to work out for them or not, because I believe they still have to make 2 more stops regardless. However, Michael Spell on back, they all hit the pits there, so they should be good to go on 1 more stop. But that being said, you never know how these races are going to turn out, so we'll wait and see as those top 3 get away very well here. Looks like 4th place as well there, and Gary Corley. Or sorry, Charles T there. Gary Corley a little bit further off here, but again, should still be easily close enough in the draft to be able to kind of grab back onto that toe and chase him back down here. So now we're going to see what these drivers are able to do. You see Chris Chabot straight to the bottom. He's going to get around that first car there, which I believe was Jeff Heisong. Now he's going to go straight behind that 75 of AJ Musselman with Michael Spell to the outside here. As again, 38 laps remaining. 1 more stop for everybody, possibly 2 more stops for the 75 and the 18. We'll have to wait and see what their strategy is going to look like for those 2 cars. But again, everybody else there went ahead and made their pit stops. Now Chris Chabot, he's going to jump to the outside of the 75, try to see if he can make the momentum work here. But obviously not going to be able to clear him entering turn number 3 this time around. But looks like he gets some pretty good exit there off of turn 3. We'll see if he can clear him in 4. He does move Chris Chabot back into the front here in that number 5 car. Now again, we'll see if he's going to do the same that he did earlier, where he kind of tries to get a little bit of an arc entering turn 1 and turn 3 and let it stretch, kind of swing it out a little bit on the exits of 2 and 4. But of course, if they're running 2x2, he won't have that opportunity. But right now, he does have a little bit of space, and you can see that's exactly what he's done here. We'll see as he comes out of turn 2. You can see he moves to the middle there, then comes right back to the bottom. Again, saving that tire just a little bit there. You can see the rest of the field starting to close back down the gap there after all is said and done. Eric Schaus, you can see he has been able to regain the speed, so I think Eric was able to get away with that wing damage. Got it repaired, got the wing front end replaced. So put Eric still back into the mix as well here. And it looks like we do have all the leaders here right in contention. And actually right now, again, something must have happened again. I see David Leclerc actually showing that he is again 2 laps down. Not sure what happened to that number 50 machine. Not sure if he had to serve a pit penalty or not. But unfortunately, I'd say that's now put him back to 2 laps down, which leaves Gabe Butler in the 1 as the only car 1 down here at the moment. You see they're actually coming up on him at the moment and saying so for David, I mean, he's going to have to fight hard. He's going to want to stay 2 laps, and you don't want to go 3 down, of course. So we'll see what he's able to do here. And that's going to be also the question, is how hard are some of these drivers going to fight to try to get to his to get around him, or do you maybe use him as draft to save a little bit of fuel, maybe make a shorter pit stop to the end? So Chris Chabot not too far from catching up to that number 50 machine, so we'll keep an eye on that. As you see behind them, Michael Spell, AJ Musselman still fighting for that 2nd position. As Chris Chabot gets to the back of that 50, David Leclerc will watch as he goes. He's going to jump to the inside of that 50, and it looks like at this point David not going to fight it too hard at the moment. Now he's going to fall in right behind that number 5 machine here down the front. Oh, you see the 1 car there jump to the inside a little bit, close contact there, possibly. I think that was David Patton was in that mix as well. So right now, again, you see those 2 side by side, the 5 and the 50. Unfortunately, David right now showing 3 laps down in that number 50 car. Again, just bad luck's gone to worse for him. As I said, we have a caution. I think I saw the 1 of Gabe Butler. No, that wasn't the 1 of Gabe Butler. That's the 25 of Kevin Freeze, and he is hooked on the wall upside down. So he's going to have to take a tow. Just going to put us back under yellow. And of course, it's going to happen after David gets put 1 lap down, or put another lap down. Again, like I said, just bad luck to worse luck for that number 50 car. So let's go ahead and see what happened to Kevin Fries here coming out of turn number 4. See him side by side. You see him actually coming down a little bit. Oh, I think we're in turn 3. Apologies. Says on the wrong turn there. Here's turn 4. Alright, we see the 25. Oh, yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, Eric Schaus washes up, gets into the side of that 25. Nothing he can do there, unfortunately, on his end, so he's going to go up and over. I believe that may have been Maxwell Caldwell that just was able to sneak on by there. You see Don Runkle Jr. sneaking on the inside along with Steve Gottschalk in there as well. So, it's just unfortunate again. It's just the wrong place, wrong time there. So that puts us back under yellow. I believe it's going to give Gabe Butler the lucky dog, though, so that should put Gabe now back onto the lead lap. And unfortunately, you can see driver leaders here not pitting, so that poor 50 David Leclerc is still not going to get a lap back. And so that's going to now put him 3 laps down, as it looks like it's going to be lonely up front for Chris Jabot and Michael Spell. The rest of the field here going ahead and pit there under yellow. And I believe, yep, here comes driver getting their wave around there. That is the number 1 of Gabe Butler. So I was going to put Gabe back on the lead lap. That'll give us 15 cars on the lead lap here. And then for those that made their pit stops there right now, it looks like the first out will be, I believe it's going to be AJ Musselman in the 75 car. Will be the first driver out of the pits there. And so with that, so we still have 32 to go. Everybody's going to still have to pit one more time no matter what. The thought might be that they can take a little bit less fuel here to be able to make it to the end. We'll have to wait and see on that. Alright, so let's go on and we're going to drag Steve back over here as we had to cut him short a little bit. So let him get back onto the backstretch here. Alright, we're going to pull you back in, Steve. I didn't want to cut you off, but I saw we're about to get going there. So able to dodge another bullet there. So say still 32 to go here. Going to restart with about 30 to go. Still going to need one more stop to make it to the end, even with that pit stop there. Are you just thinking maybe just try to put the least amount of fuel to make it to the end at this point if we go green to the end?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should set that now, shouldn't I?
So I'll play broadcaster / crew chief. I'm here to help you, Steve.
Kyle.
Also have to mention, Rachel wants to say hi. She didn't click that you were not in the booth but in the car this evening. So Rachel wants to say hi to you. Saying again, doing a great job this evening as well.
Thanks, hi Rachel. I would be. I don't want to embarrass Eric, so I'm just kind of hanging at the back.
Yeah, no, you got to let him keep a little bit of ego, right?
That's right.
Right.
I tell you, I've spent so much time just, trying to stay out of trouble and save fuel. I don't know what it's going to be like when I actually have to race people.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. You've kind of had one strategy, so then you have to kind of rethink what you do here as the race is going to start coming to a conclusion pretty soon. Have you had to make any adjustments as you've been racing in the draft with weight jack or anything like that?
I have not. I did before the race move the right bar up one click just to loosen it up a teeny bit because I was getting some aero push when the tires wore.
Okay, so yes, those are probably things to look for, like you mentioned, especially when you start getting the aero push in the draft. As you know, everybody's going to be going full send here pretty soon. So I'll say that said, though, we're coming down on the backstretch, so I'll let you regroup here, get focused up, and I'll say good luck, and maybe we'll have a chat with you in the top 3.
Hopefully, thanks, Kyle.
All right, so that is my broadcast partner, Steve Gottschalk. Right now showing in the 10th position, apologies. Right behind him is my Thursday partner, Don Runkle Jr. And of course, as I mentioned, Chris Jabot in the number 5 in the first position. He and the 88 Michael Spell did not pit there under that caution. Again, they can still make it here to on one more stop. will have to pit a little earlier, but we've also seen that short pit strategy could be a benefit in the long run, so we'll wait and see. But you also see some of these drivers here, like that 50 of David Leclerc. He's going to try to see if he can get that lead away from the 5 to be able to get one of those 3 laps back now, unfortunately. As now that number 5 here has control of the restart. See the 88 right behind him in second place. Then you have the 50, and we are back underway. Really good start there for Chris Gervais. He's able to gap that 88 car just a little bit there down the back. Again, the draft's going to bring him right back into it down the back stretch. But you can see, though, those top 3 able to separate a little bit from AJ Musselman in 3rd position. So we'll watch them as they go down the back. Again, Chris going to go straight to the bottom, try to break the draft a little bit, but here comes that 88 with a big draft here down the back. He's going to jump to the top side, see if he can make the momentum work around the top. But again, I think we're going to see that 50. He's going to try to find a way to get to the front and see if he can time that, see if he can get a timely caution and get one of those laps back here as well. So this is what you're going to see as this race progresses. You're going to see a lot of these drivers kind of move around a little bit, break the draft, and you'll kind of see like almost like them sneaking down the backstretch, possibly too, everybody trying to stay in where the draft is. But let's say up front, though, you see that 50 David Leclerc going to try to see if he can clear the 5. Can't quite do it, though. However, enter turn 3, they'll stay side by side. You see also 72 of Eric Schaus. He's starting to creep into that picture as well. Also see the 38 of David Patton. David is 2 laps down, but right now the only car 1 or more laps down, so should a caution come out, he would be able to get one of his laps back as long as he's not involved. As again, though, that 50 of David Leclerc doing everything he can to try to get one of his laps back as well. And I'm saying apparently all it takes is some interviews. Steve Goschak puts down the quickest lap of the race, 38.704. So that is our fastest lap so far of the race this evening. As you can see now, that 72 Eric Schaus is up into 3rd, right behind that number 88 of Michael Spell. And then again, right behind him is that 38 machine of David Patton, I believe that is there. But to his outside, let's say everybody's kind of jumbling around for position here. Now again, Michael Spell working the top side down the front stretch, trying to see if he can sneak the lead away from Chris Gervais. Not sure, he didn't quite have him cleared into turn 1. It was close, but couldn't quite make the pass happen. Looked like Eric Schaus got a little tight there entering turn number 1. He's going to have to back out and try to regroup here. As we say, we still see these drivers here all battling for position right now. Next time around, we're going to have 26 laps to go. Again, as I mentioned, first drivers going to have to make their pit stops are going to be that 88 and the, contact. Oh, we have big trouble in the front stretch. Oh, we see 88, the 72, and there's one more going for a wild ride there. Couldn't quite catch who that was. I think that may have been the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Was definitely one of them, as he is unfortunately had to take a tow. Oh my goodness, so it's going to put us back under yellow. We'll just see. Oh man. Say, it looks like from where I'm sitting, I believe Michael Spell actually might have, yeah, it looks like Michael came down into that 72 of Eric Schaus. Nothing they can do between the two of them there, and then unfortunately, see Maxwell Caldwell tries to get away from it, just can't quite clear them though, so he gets caught in this as well, and I think it was Maxwell we saw go for a wild ride there in the 94 car. As you can see, then they come right across the track here. You see, looks like a handful of drivers may have literally drove underneath him as he also goes up to the height of the catch fence there. And I see one in the back there again, just backing out to try to avoid that. But unfortunately, see Michael Spell, though, is upside down in the pits. Eric Schaus also on his lid there. And still trying to catch that black car in the back, who that is, who's able to sneak around there. But unfortunately, that is going to put us back under yellow. Oh, that's the 23, Brandon Pasolaco. That's who it was. Go back from his point of view and see what he was able to see. You see them make the contact here. He sees the wreck. He's backing down. You just see these cars bouncing everywhere. And saying Brandon is able to sneak by one, sneak by the other, and able to keep things pointing in the right direction. So definitely what Brandon was looking for there. And I see, yeah, so 38 of David Patton's going to get one of his laps back. David Leclerc is going to stay out and get a wave around in that number 50 car. The rest of the leaders here are hitting the pits, and it looks like Chris Jabot going to hang on to the lead here. And behind him, Corey Lane going to come out in second, Ryan Kelly in third. Looks like Corey Lane with some strategy there. It looks like he went fuel only in that number 20 machine. So they haven't talked about Corey too much this evening, but that's going to now now that it's about go time, he's working his way up towards the front. And so, yeah, so that's going to now put David Patton just one lap down in the 38 car. And then, as I mentioned, the 50 of David Leclerc, he's going to get a wave around here to go from 3 to 2 laps down. Again, just everything going against David, like I mentioned. It seems like if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any at all. And that is, again, continuing tonight. But say he's had a really strong showing here. Again, even when he's been laps down, he's been running up front with our leaders here. And so, say, unfortunately, it looks like drivers that are out of this race, again, appear to be the 25 of Kevin Freeze is now out of it. I believe Eric Schaus is most definitely out, as he was out of fast repairs as well. And then I'm not sure on Michael Spell. I thought he maybe had one left, but I probably had to take a tow in that 88 car. So we'll see. Actually, that car does look like it is in pretty decent shape here. We'll see if he's able to get things rolling. You see the wheels turning around, moving around there. He's trying to get things going, but it looks like there might be something going on with that number 88 machine as well. I'm not sure. As again, we're gonna have a few more drivers here topping off on this one to go. Ryan Kelly, AJ Musselman, Steve Goschuk, Jeff Heisong, Don Runkle Jr. They're all topping off here on this one to go. So we'll see how that comes out to play for them. I think they're going for that fuel strategy call on for those drivers. And then I believe that's going to move Brandon now up into the 6th position in that number 23 machine. And Eric Laurie now up into 7th. Yeah, here comes the 50 of David Leclerc. He's getting that wave around, so he's now 2 laps down. Again, though, actually, it looks like Maxwell Caldwell in the 94 car, he's back on track. He's actually just 1 lap down, so that 94 and the 38, they'll be battling for that lucky dog position should another caution arise. As I mentioned, we are now going to be restarting with 23 to go, so it's pretty much getting there. And again, I'm curious on the fuel side of things. I think there's going to be 2 strategies calls here. I think some of those that stayed out kind of expect to have another caution where they'll be able to save some more fuel. And then those that topped off, I think, are going to say, hey, you guys run up front, you burn your fuel up. We're going to try to take advantage of that and kind of do the fuel mileage strategy to the end here. So we'll see. Kind of a mixed bag as well. As I mentioned, there's 7th on up, stayed out under that, or pitted under the first time, didn't top off. And then AJ Musselman on back went ahead and topped off under that yellow. So we're going to have to wait and see how this is all going to cycle through. That's going to, again, put it back into the hands of Chris Jabot here, because we're going to restart, as I mentioned, with 23 laps remaining. Looks like he is down and away. Green flag is back out in the air. So again, Chris Jabot leads Corey Lane, Gary Corley. As you see, the rest of the field here remaining continues through the front stretch. Chris gets a really good start here through turns 1 and 2. But again, that draft is going to bring these guys right back up to his rear wing here down this backstretch. Here comes Corey Lane. He's going to jump to the top, see if he can make something happen with that momentum on the top side. We see it's been tough for drivers to pass that number 5. He's been able to make that bottom work really well here. So we'll see if Corey has anything that he can do with it. You saw Eric Laurie there push really high there off of turn 4. It looks like he kept it out of the wall up front, though. Corey Lane had the lead at the line, but looks like Chris is going to regain that position. I think I saw the 88 of Michael Spell. He's getting back on track. Unfortunately, 4 laps down for him. As I say that, so you see Chris still able to hold on to lead. Now you see Gary Corley working the inside line behind this number 5 car. And also you got Gabe Butler, Charles Teed here in the top 5, all right there together. They all get really tight there entering turn number 3. You see, oh, look like Corey tried to go an over-under there, but couldn't quite do it. Chris was able to get to the bottom before he had a chance to dive underneath him. So we'll see what's going to happen here again as we're going to come around here. 21 laps remaining. And again, though, that 20 of Court Lane has some pretty good speed on the top side. He's able to carry some pretty good momentum. And again, that's going to force Chris to hold that inside line, burn those tires up a little bit more. But again, I believe all these leaders here running up front like they are will not be able to save enough fuel to make it to the end. Also, still have to mention, though, they're kind of, again, split up a little bit. Ryan Kelly on 6th positions, about a second and a half off the lead. Do have enough draft to catch back up to these guys, but I just wonder if that's going to come into play here as well. And I'm watching this 27 of Charles Teed. He's not really pushing the issue right now. I wonder if he's going fuel save and just keeping up with the drivers, but not burning his stuff up in the process. Again, that number 27 of Charles Teed, that red and white car in that 5th position right now. I think he might be playing possum with everybody, letting these drivers say, yeah, go ahead, go full speed here. I'm just going to save fuel and take advantage of it when you guys all have to make your green flag pit stops should we go green to the end. So I think that might be what we see from him. As you can see, Gary Corley, though, he's going to clear that number 20 of Corey Lane, move up into 2nd position. Now he's going to see what he can do with that number 5 of Chris Chabot down the front stretch. Jumps to the outside. Just don't know if he's going to have enough momentum to get it done here as they come through the start-finish line. You all see Maxwell Caldwell. As mentioned, Maxwell is 1 lap down, but he's going to try to get his lap back here if he can. So as you see, he's all over the back of that number 7 machine. As you also see the number 20 Court Lane right there on his inside. Oh, you see Maxwell in the middle, 3 wide here, entering turn 3. Stays 3 wide. Hopefully they can clear. They get back to 2 wide there, but Maxwell being aggressive here, trying to get that lap back here. Again, he's only competing against David Patton. So I'm a little surprised to see the aggression out of him at this point in the race, but might again have some strategy calls that he's got in his mind here. So we'll kind of wait and see. But again, he's going to have to still try to find a way to get around that number 5 of Chris Chabot, which, as I mentioned, has been proven pretty difficult to do here, as we're going to come around here with 18 laps to go this time. There'll be 17 to go at the line. Again, right now that 94 on the outside is still 1 lap down, trying to get to the tail end of the lead lap if he can. That's moving, Gary Corley right now in that 2nd position, that black car on the inside line. And then just to his outside, Eric Laurie now all the way up into that 3rd position. He's made a big charge here to get up there. And as I mentioned there, you got the 20 of Corey Lane, Gabe Butler there in 5th. And I'm noticing, again, I mentioned that 27 Charles Teed. I think that 27 car is going full fuel save. Trying to use the draft here, save as much fuel as he can, possibly even using a little bit of maybe using a different engine map as well as save some fuel in that number 27 car. So we'll keep an eye on him as this race progresses. As I mentioned, I'll say again that number 50 of David Leclerc, he hits the pits again. As I mentioned, if it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have none at all. So I'm not sure. I believe David, no. I'm trying to see if he maybe had a pit there. Oh yeah, he was at lap 21, so he was at his fuel window. He had to make a pit stop there. So he's going to pit here, and that should make him be able to make the distance to the end. But right now, again, that 5 and the 94 are still up front here. That 94 trying to get that lap back if he can. As now Eric Laurie's worked his way up into that 2nd position here on the top side. But again, right now, Chris Chabot holding strong on the inside line here as he's going to get to the bottom. As this time by, we're going to have 15 laps to go at Indianapolis. I'll say again, scheduled distance 150 laps here, so 15 more to get to that point. But we have a lot of racing still to do, and hard to say where it's going to wind up. Is it going to be a fuel strategy? Is it going to be possibly a late race caution where people are going to have to take some more fuel? Or do we see people try to stretch it on fuel to get to that point in the race? So we'll have to wait and see. But again, you also see the 38 of David Patton. He's in that gold and white car. He's trying to work his way up to get to that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Again, that's the battle for the lucky dog position. So let's say, again, multiple fights going on track here for different situations. As you see, the 58 David Clare is able to get back onto track, still hanging on without losing an extra lap, so he's still showing 2 laps down in the number 50. So he's got to try to keep ahead of that number 5 car, as we have 14 to go. Yeah, Craig, I say it's about 5 wide time. I have a feeling you're exactly right. And again, sorry that you got caught up in those incidents. None of your doing, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's just the way these races go from time to time, it seems like. Alright, see one diving into the pits. It looked like that is the one of Gabe Butler. Honestly, I thought Gabe would actually try to stretch it here, so he's going for some fuel strategy in the number 1 car. I think he's just going to try to take probably a splash to make it to the end, with a little bit of buffer for green-white checkers as well. So we'll see how that pans out for him. Again, you see Chris really aggressively now having to protect that inside line, as we're going to go 3 wide here. As you see the 38 and the 94 again. Hopefully someone's able to give, because otherwise it's going to be a mess. Entering turn 3, almost was still. David Patton, though, and the 94 Maxwell Cole will somehow find a way to stay off of each other there. And we are going to come around here, 12 to go. As Chris, again, going to have to protect that inside line, because David's going to want to get that lap back. And say again, I think at this point, Chris is just going to be going full send and hope that maybe a timely caution comes out to help him save some fuel. As I mentioned, I do not think he's going to have enough fuel to make it to the end, as we are on lap 14 of this since he's last pitted. And with 12 laps to go, that would put him way over that number of that 21 lap window here. So we'll have to wait and see as they're working on catching. I believe that actually is the one of Gabe Butler, who just made his pit stop. So now Gabe going to have to try to do it. He can't stay in the lead lap, but he's going to have to jump to the top here and give way. So unfortunately, that pit strategy for the 1 car is not going to pan out for him, which is going to put him right smack in the hornet's nest of that battle for the lead lap there with that 38 and the 94. So we'll see how that's going to turn out. But right now, this has actually let Chris Jabot get a little bit of a lead here. Kind of separated this pack just a little bit. So we'll keep an eye as this thing keeps going here. As next time by, we're going to have 10 laps to go, as we have 11 to go this time by. And then I see the 91 of Steve Gottschalk's in the pits. I'm not sure if something happened to him or if this is a scheduled stop, but based on the length of pit stop time, I think something may have happened with him. Unfortunately, of course, at the worst time with coming to 10 to go. Really unfortunate for Steve, but say well, can't really turn away from this at this point. So we have a big battle again for lead. Again, they're looking 3 wide here as they enter turn number 1. That 94-38 on the outside, Chris Jabot on the inside. Again, these two are fighting to be that first car 1 lap down, as is the one of Gabe Butler. So right now, our second place car is actually that number 7 of Gary Corley, the 4th car in line here. As you see Chris having to actually hug below the white line there for a moment to try to keep these two behind him, and saying I'm sure this is definitely just making him that much more nervous as he's trying to fight these drivers off here who say actually aren't even for a position for him right now. So I think at this point, if you're that 5, you're kind of hoping that they just fight too hard and they actually wind up making contact with each other to give yourself some fuel to save in that number 5 machine. As again, they still go 2 by 2, almost able to clear him entering turn 1, can't quite do it. As I mentioned again, the fight right now for that first car 1 lap down, you have those 3 all right together here. Oh, you see Maxwell push a little bit there, but they stay off each other. Michael Spell to jump to the inside as well there. And actually, again, yeah, there's definitely some fuel strategy going on here. I see Brandon Pastelacqua, AJ Musselman, Charles T, Don Rickle Jr. They've all fallen off about 5 seconds off the lead pack here. So they're going for the fuel strategy. So we've got 2 trains of thought here. We got our top 6 all running together here, kind of just gunning it out here and trying to get everything they can. And then from 7th on back, leading with Brandon Pastelacqua, they're going full fuel save here. And they're going to try to stretch it to the end here on fuel on their cars. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this is all going to pan out here. As I say, right now we're at 8 to go. Next time by is going to be 7 to go. As I mentioned, Chris Jabot probably going to have to pit here in about 3 to 4 more laps. Just will not have the fuel mileage to make it to the end, as he's been leading this race here up front. No draft to save fuel. So we'll have to see how this one's going to turn out here. And Rachel, I'm not sure. As I said, here comes Chris Jabot. He's going to send it here into the pits. Got to get it stopped in time. Oh, you see, get a little loose on entry, but able to get it back down. So that's going to give the lead over now to Corey Lane. And so you see those top 3 cars in front of him, they're all now on the tail end of the lead lap. So Chris going to make his green flag pit stop here in that number 5 machine. Should easily be able to stay on the lead lap. But again, though, now it's going to all be about where things cycle through. Should we have any cautions or not? Can those drivers that are saving super aggressively right now, can they make it to the end? There's going to be a lot of storylines here as this race unfolds, as we're going to come across here for 6 laps remaining. And yeah, Rachel, for Jeff Heisong, I'm not sure who he is. He might be part of the... why did I lose their name now? Might be part of the Dark Horse Racing team. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so it's, like I mentioned, that's a new name that I've yet to see as well. But doing a great job in that second position, actually battling for the lead here. In that number 18 car, also fighting with the 7 of Gary Corley here on the inside line. As again, we're going to come around here next time by. Going to be 5 laps remaining. Let's say right now Chris Chabot does have a big gap on those cars after he made his pit stop, so he's in a pretty good spot here. But again, though, those drivers right here on the tail end of the lead lap, they're still fighting hard. Oh, here comes Corey Lane. He's going to hit the pits. He could not make it either. That's going to give it into the hands now of Gary Corley. He's going to be fighting now behind those lap cars that are, well, tail end lead lap, I should say. So now you got Gary Corley, Jeff Heisong, Eric Laurie, Ryan Kelly. These are the top 4 that have still yet to make their pit stops. Again, the question is, can they make it? And the other question is, again, if those drivers that are lapped down, I mean, if they're going full fuel save here, is it possible that Chris Chabot, with going full send here on fuel, can he make it? As I mentioned, Brandon Papalacqua, actually, he pitted there. He was one of those drivers that was kind of going on the full fuel save strategy, so we're going to have to wait and see for that. As again, got a couple more there hitting the pits. That is, a contact between the 2 of them, the 24 and the 94 and the 23 car, or 38 car, apologies. Right now, these 3 still up front here. Actually, these 4 up front: Gary Corley, Jeff Heisong, Eric Laurie, Ryan Kelly. They stay up front. We have 4 laps to go. And looking at the pit stops here, we're trying to see where Chris Chabot is in relation to some of these drivers. It looks like actually the number 20 car. So I'm trying to go through my ticker. Corey Lane, he took fuel. He took a splash of fuel, so he's actually got out in front. Oh, you see Gary Corley, I believe, caught the wall just a little bit, possibly there. Looks like he's going to hit the pits as Eric Laurie tries to get it slowed down. It looks like they're both going to get it done. That's going to move it now into the hands of the 18 of Jeff Heisong. Ryan Kelly there with him as well. Move actually now, yes, Ryan Kelly now in the second position. So now with only 2 drivers have yet to pit, which again, on the pit strategy things, we have 3 laps to go. And right now the next drivers that have yet to pit are way further back here with AJ Musselman, Don Runkle Jr. The problem for them is Corey Lane is not too far behind, but we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to keep an eye on the lead pack right now as we have 3 to go, coming to 2 to go. Can either of these drivers here make it to the end? Oh, here comes Jeff Heisong. He's going to pit. Now that leaves Ryan Kelly. He's going to stay out here. He's actually going to pass this. Who is that he's trying to pass right now? I think that's Gabe Butler. If I was Ryan Kelly, I would have stayed behind him there and just be using all the draft you possibly can, because right now you've got a 30-second lead over that car behind you. So if I'm Ryan Kelly, I'm backing it down. I'm drafting off of anybody and everybody. Oh, almost contact between himself and the 7 car. So we'll watch Ryan Kelly. He's going to come around here to get the white flag. He does get behind that one of Gabe Butler. So again, I don't know why he's trying to pass him. I would stay behind, save every ounce of fuel you can. Oh, but Ryan Kelly, he has to pit, so that's going to now, we'll see how the pit stop cycles go. Because right now, I believe we'll see, this could cycle out to Corey Lane here. As Corey right now is showing as our race leader. Let's say looking a little further back to see who's where on track. You see Jeff Heisong in the 18 is showing in second position. Don Runkle Jr. right behind him. So we'll see. We'll say now we're going to jump back to the 20 cars. Drivers are finishing up their pit stops. This is crazy the way this is all ending up here. All right, so coming off of turn number 4. Now to take the, I believe this, oh, actually, no, this is the, I'm all thrown off here. All right, I believe this is the final lap for Corey Lane. It's been saying final lap for a while. So now we've got to watch for the 67 and the 20 car. Here comes Ryan Kelly. But look right behind him. That is the battle for the win here. You got Ryan Kelly right behind him is the 20 Corey Lane. Corey's going to have a huge head of steam here entering turn number 3. Ryan Kelly's going to try to hug the bottom line. Corey's going to get the top spot here. He's going to take the lead out of turn number 3. Can he get the draft back off of turn number 4, or is Corey going to grab the win here this evening? Let's wait and see. And I believe Corey Lane has enough. And Corey Lane going to win this evening. That 13 car, 67 of Ryan Kelly is going to wind up in second position. I believe it's still updating. Just able to hold off Jeff Hysong in third. And say in fourth position, looks like Don Runkle Jr. in fourth. Eric Laurie fifth. That was a wild finish there at the end. And I see a couple cars I think may have had some some damage at the end. See Chris Jabot, he's got some contact there at the end. I believe that was the 75 there as well. Wow, that was a finish there with some strategy calls at the end. Ryan Kelly, Corey Lane, they went with the fuel strategy only. Some of the drivers also took tires. And in the end, though, it's going to be that number 20, Corey Lane. He's going to get the win here this evening. As I mentioned, Ryan Kelly just able to hold off Jeff Hysong. Let's go back and look at that, because that was close coming to the finish as well, between that 67 and the 18 car. Because it looks like, actually, I think Ryan Kelly may have not put enough fuel in his car. So we'll watch as he comes across the line. You can see him start to wiggle a little bit here, trying to get some more fuel into that pickup. And you see coming with a huge head of steam is that number 18. So we'll slow things down a little bit, though, as you can see as he's approaching the start-finish line here. As it just wasn't quite enough, though, it looks like. So you see there's the 67 crosses the yard of bricks. But if you wait just a split second later, we'll speed things up. And there it goes with a huge head of steam, that number 18. Grabs that third position. So again, congrats to our top 3 there for an awesome race tonight. And then I mentioned, of course, shout out to our race winner there, Corey Lane. So let's go ahead and try to pull up some drivers and get some interviews here. And so while we do that, I'm going to reload my overlay. Alright, so there's our race winner, number 20, Corey Lane. So it looks like actually may have ran out of fuel to try to do some celebrations here. So with that, though, we're going to grab our top 3. See if we can hunt them all down here. And actually, I am not seeing a Jeff Hysong. So we may not be able to chat with him. I say again, I want to just bring up what was in stake for tonight's race. So you can see our race winner, Corey Lane, going to get $100, $40 for Ryan Kelly, and then $20 for Jeff Hysong tonight. So congrats to those 3. And as I mentioned, the 27 car, Charles Teed, he gets $10 for winning the pole for this evening's race. Alright, so I'm not catching, unfortunately, Jeff Hysong, so we're going to jump over to Ryan Kelly, though. Let's get a chat with him. Alright, let's go ahead and pull up our second place finisher, Ryan Kelly. So, you were stretching there as far as you could there, Ryan. Had the pit there coming to the white flag, and almost had enough to grab back to the tail end of Corey Lane, but it looked like at the end too, maybe just went a little bit short on fuel. Say I saw you kind of wiggling there at the end. So were you just maybe about a straightaway short on fuel there?
Yeah, I came in on that last caution. I was sitting third, and I was debating whether to come top off, and I finally decided I'll come top off. So I gave up third, and then I was trying to just save that last run, just to stretch it, maybe possibly get to the end, but I was 1 lap short. So I came in and took only half a gallon to try and just speed things up, and yeah, just a straightaway short.
I mean, it was a really good run there. I mean, let's say I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to make it too. At some points, there's a few times I was kind of yelling at you to kind of just stay behind people and draft and save every drop you could, because I wasn't sure if you're going to try to stretch it to the end. And I say it looked like not many drivers were able to, and if they were, they had to lose a lot of time. So for you to get to the white flag to be able to make it that far and then pit, I mean, I mean, obviously you did an awesome job of saving fuel here tonight, but I mean, again, I mean, I know you're more of obviously on the Cup side of things with you running on the Thursday evenings, but obviously you had some IndyCar racing with the All-Star Week last week. So I mean, take us through for your point of view. I mean, compare what you're trying to do tonight versus what you should be doing in these Cup cars.
Yeah, the Cup car is more horsepower and sliding around. This is more just, making it till the end and putting the car in the right spot rather than, it's two totally different. It's like night and day driving both. So it's hard, and big up to the guys who are strong in both because they're two totally different things.
Well, I mean, you did an awesome job tonight. Say able to survive some of the chaos, and say you're gonna come home. I believe it's $40 richer after tonight's race. So congrats on that. So yeah, so I want to give you obviously an opportunity. Thanks, shouts you'd like to give for grabbing that second place tonight.
Yeah, shout out to my teammate Maxwell, and shout out to all the admins and all the guys running the league and putting on these fun money races for everybody. And shout out to you at Green White Checker TV.
All right, great run, Ryan. Like I said, almost had enough there at the end. Just need a splash of fuel more. But like I said, though, just couldn't quite get there. But really good effort. I say it was really exciting there at the end, trying to see who can make it, who couldn't, and where everybody was cycled through. So great run tonight, Ryan, and congrats on that second place.
Thanks, Miguel.
All right, so that is our second place finisher. As you say, as we're just about to see this pass for the lead there, Corey Lane with the pass there for the lead. We'll pull him up in here. So, say, Corey, you did some awesome pit strategy there at the end. Say, pitted a little earlier, went with fuel only there, and say that looks to be the winning decision to make the win happen tonight. I mean, take us through your strategy. Take us through those final laps. I mean, how stressed were you there coming to those last kind of final laps there?
Well, for the first 3/4 till the second pit stop, I was just trying to survive. I had all the crashes in front of me, pretty much. And then at the end there, on my second to last pit stop, I did fuel and tires only, and it felt good, so I did it again on the last one. And it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say it worked out well. So obviously, I don't know what the conversion rate's going to be, but say $100 richer after tonight's race. Congrats on that. I mean, a great run. I say you were up there a lot, and say obviously different strategy calls on what you wanted to do. And then say, was that kind of your plan for that short pit there at the end, was to do the short pit and fuel, or were you thinking about stretching it a little bit further than dropping in, or I mean, what was your thought there at the very end there?
Coming to the end, I was thinking I'd do a short pit after my second pit. That was working out, and my fuel was pretty close to the end there.
So you worked it perfectly. Say the strategy worked out extremely well. So obviously we saw Ryan Kelly jump out in front of you out of the pits, and so now it's just all about the momentum. And so you're able to grab the draft and then swing on back by him. So he actually ran just a little bit short on fuel as well, as he had to kind of coast it to the finish there. So again, I mean, just awesome job tonight. I'll say, well, actually, we were kind of trying to keep track of who had fast repairs, who didn't. Did you still have one in the store, or did you have to use yours at some point tonight?
I still had my one. I hadn't had anyone the whole race.
Oh, great job then. So that's even extra bonus for you. But yeah, I mean, just awesome job. I say, definitely want to give you opportunity though. Any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for getting that win this evening?
Just a thanks to the guys in the league and you guys for streaming.
So I appreciate you guys did an awesome job. So you make my job easy, because you make these races so exciting to watch. So yeah, congrats on that one. And then yeah, so what's your schedule plans here coming up for season 6 here?
I'm gonna be running the Sunday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
All right. So we'll look forward to seeing you.
Races.
Perfect. That's what we want to see. So congrats. Say great win. Say enjoy the extra cash. Don't spend all in one place. And yeah, say look forward to watching you with some of these future races and seeing what you're able to get done.
Yep, sounds good. I'll see you later.
All right, those are our top, or our second and third finishers, I should say, this evening. Unfortunately, weren't able to grab our other driver. I'm going to see if my booth partner here, Steve Goschak, see if he's still around. We'll have a chat with him or not. See if you're here, Steve, by chance, and if you wanted to do any kind of final thoughts on tonight's race if you're around. Yeah, I think it stepped away, unfortunately. All right, well, figure I'd try. All right, that being said, we got to pull up our results. Corey Lane, though, getting the win this evening, 2.5 seconds or so over Ryan Kelly. Jeff Heisong in third. Don Runkle Jr. somehow stretched his field to finish in fourth. Eric Laurie in fifth. You got Gary Corley sixth. AJ Musselman in seventh. Chris Jabot with a really dominant performance as well, and that number 5 car brings it home in eighth. Brandon Pasalacqua in ninth. Charles Teed in 10th. And top 20 here, you've got Maxwell Caldwell, unfortunately, 1 lap down. David Patton, Gabe Butler, David Leclerc, as we mentioned, if it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have none at all. He winds up 14th after everything. He had a really strong run as well, just unfortunately got caught up in a couple of incidents. And then in 15th, Michael Spell. Steve Goschak in 16th. He had to step away, it looked like, towards the end of the race. Unfortunately, I think he had a good run as well going. Unfortunately, Eric Schaus got caught up in some of those incidents of not of his doing, with 17th. Kevin Fries in 18th. James Ledford in 19th. And Jim Brooks in 20th. And the remainder of the field here, you've got Benjamin Combs, Josh Garner, AJ Hobson, Dwight Plush, Eric Peterson, Jarek Kaczynski, and Craig Forsyth. So with that, again, really want to congratulate our top 3, especially, of course, our race winner, Corey Lane, and really want to also thank Dark Horse Racing, Dark Horse Motorsports. I'm going to get it wrong. I apologize for that, for not remembering exactly what it was, but really awesome. Thank you for them for putting this one on. It was a lot of fun tonight. As we mentioned, of course, also a pretty long one, so say kind of, I'm sure, taught some drivers a little bit of endurance, so great job for that. And yeah, so say, well, there are going to be a couple more fun races, I'm sure, going on this week with Area 51 Racing League. I believe on Thursday and Sunday we'll have something set up as well. So, of course, keep an eye on that on their Facebook page, or, of course, you can find them on their website at area51iracing.com. So, until next time, I want to thank you all again for watching. And, of course, please, if you can, try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good night.